I didn't turn my volume up. What a fucking dork. What a goof. What a goof. Hey, it's James and welcome to another stream series. It's sub dump. It's a fumble for it, fellas. It's over. It's so over. Let me know if the audio is daijobu. It might not be. It might not be. Oh no, that's all right. That's all right. Mine isn't so much. Oh man. I'm having the worst time. I haven't even put the chat on the thing yet because I didn't do that yet. I didn't have the link when I was setting this up. It's a whole new stream setup, so yay. But it's great to see everyone. Yes, I must. It's been a little while since I streamed too, so great. This is gonna go great. Browser? Or window capture? I think it's window capture. Yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Ish. Can I can squash this, right? Yeah. Yeah. Basically. Yeah. I'll take the chat out a bit here. I haven't been reading the chat at all, but I'm very happy everyone's here. It's great to see you, Em. I'm hoping that my lofty expectations. Sunmucky Falcon here, great. It's good to see everybody. Fumbus, hello. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. Oscar first. Annalisa's here. Hayden's here. Greg's here, of course. Drema's here. Mia. Drema, it's not going to be another 3 years, I swear. This is going to be like 7 or 8 streams. This is not going to take too long. I say that as I as I don't get started for another like hour. No, that won't happen. Good to see you, Jad. Nausicaa opening Kino. Yeah. Veal. Yes. Okay. Let's get to business. The 8-bit's been great. But let's now get to this part here. I found a couple lo-fi things. I don't know how well the mix is. If we don't want to listen. We don't want to hear the music too much because it's a very audio-heavy stream this time, and we're gonna see if this works. If the stream gets taken down, and it is what it is, then we'll find some other way to do this. I don't know how, but we'll do it. We'll try. Hey, RC. I watched Born in the Heron a few days ago. Did you watch? Yeah, I did. I did watch it. It was good. It's upper mid tier out of the 12 movies he's done. It's like 5 or 6 for me. I like it. I like it a good deal. Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Happy birthday. It hasn't been real. Oh yeah, it is his birthday. I did not plan that at all. That's incredible. Just don't play anything from the main OST too long. Right, yeah. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I was projecting, really. And there's all these lo-fi mixes. I'm hoping that works okay. Can't wait to finally prove Warrior that wins his true vision. Yes, of course. Okay, let's show you that. Let's debut the thing you're going to be looking at for the whole time. Ta-da! Not quite. I messed up. Ta-da! Okay, this is it. We're using Premiere. That's right. It's the software I'm familiar with. We're gonna go with that. And it's so weird too, because the hammer's over here and everything. I'm gonna keep like whatever, but I have to actually. I'm gonna be very. I'll try to look at the chat often, but let's explain. Let's explain what it's a debut project. I've broken the movie up into chunks of about 100 lines each. I don't know how long this will actually take us, really, but this is roughly 15 minutes per. It actually lines up pretty well. There's no super dialogue heavy. It's pretty well distributed throughout. I count 732 lines, but there's going to be like a couple of times where 2 characters it would be like an exchange. Like in this first stream, Nausicaa says, get upwind of it, and Dupa says, right. And I just put that together. There's going to be some instances like that. All of this is subjective. All of it. So I could just make the rules as I go, as long as there's logic behind everything. So yeah, so this first stream there's the chunk here. We're gonna try to get to kind coming. These lines are based on the lines that I know, but it's like when Yupa, like right after Nausicaa leaps off the desert dune and she's heading towards the valley and Yupa's following her. That's gonna be kind of where we try to. That's our mark for tonight. We're gonna try to get that far, and you can see the chapter marks here. That is all the lines, and every line is the light blue is sub, the dark blue is dub, and the pink for the lines that are there, sometimes they're not, is Warriors of the Wind. I've written out everything out in the description for people to read. I don't know if people have read it yet. But so I'm sorry if it was a weird contradictory thing. But basically, we're gonna be going this. This was like I saved this, but I don't really know if I'm gonna use it this way, like tiering out the characters and stuff like that. I don't know how to weigh this yet, but I just want to get started in terms of like deciding which line is better, because that's the more interesting part. But we'll delineate like based on the results, I guess. We'll figure out weights and stuff. So every line is gonna look like this. I have the subtitles that were provided by G-Kids, specifically the G-Kids version. I have both copies of the movie. This is the Disney one, and this is G-Kids, and they're almost identical. They're almost identical subs, and they're not very good subs. I will tell you. They're kind of awkward. They seem fairly accurate, obviously. I haven't dived super deep into it yet, but they seem fine, but like they're not ideal. But I'm not judging them off of those subs, even though that is very, very likely the subs you will be using if you ever watch this movie subbed in any official capacity. Even if, finding this torrented or whatever, right? I didn't go and look through Nya or AB or whatever to see what subs they use in different subgroups and stuff. What I'm using is those official subs, which is, I know they're not very good. I have the Japanese script, literally just the whole Japanese script, and it's broken up line by line, so we know exactly like the Japanese that is being said. I have this translation here, which is pretty much the kind of the most ideal. Some lines here in the brackets here will have an alternative line, just because of what the sub is and everything. I don't know if I have the, yeah, I have it here. Yeah, you can see it. It is a translation by Takashi Toyoka. It was made in 2004. It's an unofficial translation of Nausicaa. Here's the link if you wanna. I'll put this in the in the chat. I'm sorry if I'm not reading your stuff, M. I want to finish my explanation and then I'll give feedback. It's an unofficial translation. It's purely for the enjoyment, used for non-profit purposes. It's not meant in any way to infringe on the blah 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 blah. So this is a combination of. I could actually pull up the. Here's the other thing. I could just do desktop and I could just pull up whatever. So they give a little notes and reflections here, and this is basically like, they were looking to see the Suffering Through Warriors of the Wind, whatever they wanted translation. They found two versions. One was kind of appalled with errors, and the other one is by Miho Nishida, which is another one that I'm referencing. I am looking at as well. It's not necessarily on here. We kind of consider it. I don't. Sorry, multiple days and stuff like that of working on this. But this is basically where the subs are coming from. This is as good as we can get it, at least is what I can tell. There might be some things where we can hash things out in terms of like, I don't think that's really what they're saying. But yeah, here's the Miho Nishida from 1991 from Cornell University subtitles. Another village has died. And again, I've combined all the lines together so that, yeah, we'll sink into the Fukai. Or, we'll engulf this place too is what, yeah. So there's different alternates and stuff like that. Asterisk is the dub, the 2005 English dub produced by Disney. That is the dub we're going to be comparing, mainly. So because I'm not very fluent in French or Korean or Italian or any of the other languages that Nausicaa has been dubbed in. So this is just Japanese audio, Disney versus 2005 Disney dub. And I will be considering Warriors of the Wind because I think a lot of you probably haven't heard it before. And I think it's really a fascinating piece. It's also for people that like are super anti-dub, just like English dub can't handle English words coming out of anime character mouth or whatever. I think it's a good point of comparison to be like, this is what an English dub could be like, and this is the one where that I do believe that I am coming into this with the bias that the dub is superior. That I do think I'm gonna make sure this is on loop. It is. That it is superior. And so the way we're judging this is both by the words being used and the performance of that, basically. And honestly, I'll keep the music on, whatever, but like I don't know if I can handle listening to it as I'm trying to listen intently to what's being to the dialogue. But it's those two combined. It's not half-half. It is just like case-by-case basis. I think the performance here or whatever. And we're just going to be like, put a note, which one is it, dub or sub? And I'm just going to give my reason why. I'll talk about it here, but I'm going to also write it down. I don't know if I'll write it down like fully, because that'll take some time and kind of boring. But I might just, obviously this is what the stream is for, is to document my thoughts about it. So I could probably just watch it afterwards or something and record it after that. I have done this project before. This is the last thing before we get started, and I'll read chat. I have done this I did get started on this project a long time ago in 2019, and I got halfway through the movie before I realized that I could just be streaming this, and that would be more interesting. And I could hash it out with other people, etc., etc. If I could just find it, the other document. Where would it be? Sorry, I have so many things. I don't know why I'm... oopsie. Yeah, because I've recorded the desktop off of it. Where is it? Sorry, one sec. Come on. Oh, yeah. So I kept this for posterity. This is the script I was writing, the preamble. And this is what it looked like. Like, I would just write it all out. Like, here's all my reasons why the dub is better for this one line. Every single time. For half of the movie. And, I'll keep that, like, around and open. Like, maybe after the stream, after we get to a certain point. I don't know how far we can get. But I won't be referencing that document. And I'll just look at it afterwards and see if I agree with 2019 me. About my reasoning and everything like that, and maybe that old me will convince me that it's better or different. I don't know, but we're gauge it by that. Anyway, that is everything, and now I'm gonna read the whole chat. So give me a couple seconds. Hell yeah. Been watching Maison Koku, and might this be the best looking? It's definitely up there. It's the same team that was working on Urusei Yatsura towards the end, and by the time they got to the end of Urusei Yatsura, it looked incredible, so they just transferred to work right on Maison Koku. I think that's part of the reason why it looks great. You can use the synth piano album, so getting blocked, but the main score is a no-no. Oh, okay, cool. I'll look those up. Although I don't know if 100% if I'll even listen to the music really. Yeah, the G-Kid subs are the same script used for Disney. Yeah, there was a slight difference. There was, like, they capitalized OM and made it OMU instead of OMHU or something like that. No, OHM instead of OHMU. So there's some tweaking, but they did remove it's the same. It's effectively the same script for sure. Based on the 1995 theatrical subs. Oh my gosh. That were first shown in the UK as part of Building Bridges Multimedia. Thank you so much. Wow. Okay, cool. Yeah, I figured they just haven't been changed. Bonjour. Hello, Kamen Rider Nago. Italian dub in 87 takes a lot of liberties. Oh, wow, interesting. Can you imagine a Nausicaa Disney musical? Yeah. The one with LaBeouf? Yes, it's that Disney dub. Realizing the content potential mid-process. Yep. I have 7 different dubs of. Oh, sweet. I need to check out the Finnish dub if it's any good. Apparently, like everyone in the cast of that is instantly recognizable to Finnish watchers. Oh, right. Again, I wouldn't have any of that frame of reference, so I don't think I would be a good judge of that. So I don't want to bother. Yeah, I was hoping to make it for busy at the moment. Yeah, don't worry. They'll hopefully be archived. Glowworm. The weirdest dubs are the Russian. Yeah, I looked up the staff. Yeah. I think is quantitatively. Yeah, that sounds right. As long as the kit changes better serve the themes. Right. I'm pretty new to Nausicaa. I've seen the movie and the first chapter of the manga. All right, you're going to get very intimate with it then. There's also another subtitle script we will not be able to compare today because it has not been released. The 84 theatrical script used my Tokuma Shoken. Oh, wow. Probably used as the basis for Warriors. Oh, wow, incredible. That's why Warriors is like not too inaccurate, all things considered. There's obviously some obvious changes, and it's not up for consideration officially because they cut 25 minutes out of the movie. Like, it's not a proper. I don't think it's even fair. In the process of reading the manga. Oh yeah, I have a transcript of Warriors on my website. Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah, that would be great because I think I got all of it actually, or I don't know how far I got with. No, yeah, I haven't even gotten that far deep. So that would actually be really useful. Thank you so much. So that way I could just copy paste to yeah, because I don't even know to what point because the one in quotes is, oh gosh. Yeah, I didn't even. It's really, oh geez. Yeah, it's like less than that. Maybe up to this first. I think it's this first, or we have just enough lines transcribed. Anyway, okay, we're finally here. I kind of don't want music, to be honest with you, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. Whew, we're here. All right, first chapter. First line. Everyone can hear very good. Here's Japanese.
また村が一つ死んだ。行こう。ここもじき不快に沈む。
Yet another village is dead. Let's go. Soon this place too will be consumed by the toxic jungle.
Another village destroyed. We better leave before the air kills us too.
We better leave. Okay, so first thing I want to say, the Japanese audio does not you can tell that there's no effect to mask it to make it sound like it's coming out of a mask. I mean, kind of, but it's way more obvious in
Yet another village.
You know what I mean? It sounds a little bit more. I think it sounds way more like he's actually wearing a mask. With that, and that sort of audio quality is something not a lot of people think of, obviously. But from what I understand, the Japanese take a lot of care in making sure that the audio is clear, very articulate. So those audio effects don't necessarily always happen. There's going to be a scene later in this chunk that's very obvious with that, I think. At least for me. Yeah, Goro Naya is voicing Lord Yupa here, and Patrick Stewart is voicing Lord Yupa. I like both. I've listened to Goro Naya's stuff. I mean, I shouldn't necessarily say that because I can't think of many roles off the top of my head, but I know the name, and I feel like I'm familiar with the name. Truly Goro Naya. They probably just had him talk into his hand in Japanese. Oh yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so let's first look at the translation. Another village destroyed. I really like they put yet another, because it shows that there's again and again and again and again and again every single, like, again, time after time. I think yet another. There's so much more exasperation in his voice, and the yet really emphasizes that. Yet another village is dead. And then let me listen to this again. he doesn't sound as tired to me. He doesn't sound as exhausted, like really like this sucks. You know what I mean? This is the first line in the movie, and it needs to really have this like this feeling of complete despair because it's supposed to contrast what Nausicaa goes through and what the general perception of the toxic jungle is. She's the only one in the movie that has any not ambivalence, but like any curiosity or any sympathy towards it. Everyone else is either neutral or antagonistic, you know, so that contrast has to be really strong, I think. Hal Smith is worried. Thank you. Goro Naya provided the voice of Nick Adams in the Japanese dub. Oh wow. Yeah. So I want to give it to dub here because I really like the yet another village is dead and everything. But let's continue with the other parts of the line, the second half here, after he exits the house. It's just like really flat and like straightforward. Like I don't know. I think that Patrick Stewart has a lot more theatricality. Of course, he's a theater, a big Shakespeare. Like he's from like the Shakespeare Company or something like that. I think. Well known for this sort of like his delivery and specifically delivery.
Let's go. Soon this place too will.
Soon this place too. You know. I don't know. I feel like Goro Naya just kind of goes like. It's the same register. It's like, come on, it's gonna be a hit. Whereas I feel like there's more emphasis in this place too be consumed. And let's look at the translation a bit. The jungle will soon engulf this place too. Let's go. So, and if any, the G-Kids subs are actually very close to Disney's dub here. Let's go. Not too much different. The jungle will soon engulf this place too. Soon this place too. I really like that this translation will soon sink into the Fukai, leaving like having the end of it being like kind of introducing the like leaving the sentence on the toxic jungle specifically, I think is a much better choice. And so the dub has that as well. And here's where we get to the toxic jungle or Fukai or Sea of Decay or what do we call this thing, right? It's toxic jungle, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's perfect. You know, in terms of like whether it's accurate, here's the thing with like, you know, I hope we're all on the same page that it's not a matter of being accurate as much as it is like what is effective, what is describing the thing that is being said the best. Jungle, I think, is more accurate to what it actually is shown throughout the actual movie as a big foresty jungle looking place, you know. Toxic forest, but no one's really using for toxic forest here. You either have it Fukai, the jungle, the toxic jungle, and that like making it specific there, I think that's a much specific, better choice. Sea of Decay is more literally correct, but you're right. You are right of Fukai, but it's not a sea, right? If you're translating this into English, and this is the first time you're watching this movie, right? All you've seen is it like I don't have the full movie in front, like the visuals and stuff, but all you've seen is a desert and like a bunch of fungus and stuff. You've not seen a sea, so there's a bit of a like a disassociation. Like, wait, what? Oh, it's Sea of Decay and everything. I like the term. Don't get me wrong, but matching what the visuals, what the audience has been shown, and the first time you're talking about it, toxic jungle, I think it's a much preferred, and that's going to come up a lot because that's just a better term. So, but I won't be harping on it every single time, of course. But yeah. Sea of Decay is the literal translation. Toxic Jungle was the English name from the beginning. You can see it in Tokuma's promotion. Wow, okay. I've used Sea of Decay more. That was when I first heard. Oh, of course. Yeah. And Toxic Jungle is what I first heard, so I'm going to have bias towards that. That's fair. Makes less sense to English speakers with wordplay from Sea of Trees. Yep. Bit more direct and intimidating. I agree, Jungle makes more sense in English. Jungle of pain and feeling bad. Yeah. Does make more sense. Yeah. All right. So terminology, performance. I think Patrick Stewart's a little more theatrical. In this particular line, Goranai is a little too straight shooting and flat. The Yet Another Village, it's dub. Okay, moving on. And I'm sorry I didn't talk too much about Warriors of the Wind there, but another village destroyed. And then that's another difference, right? Like destroyed versus dead. The subs do like the G-Kid subs say destroyed, but they are both the Shinda is more accurate and much more evocative, like dead, you know. And it's the village is dead, not person is dead or anything. But yeah, but like another village destroyed. kills us too. The two is there, but like more personal too. I don't know. Yeah. And Hal does a fine job. All right, so this is the next thing. The sub has no narration. There is no narration. It is just the text. And that's a fine choice. That's okay. Although, try to read like how much text there is with just the amount of time that they give you. I'm going to turn the volume up here, volume down here, just because it's just music. I should have... I have to prove it to you, otherwise... It's a decent amount of time. I think it's manageable for the amount of text for the audience to read it. Although, of course, you're thinking the first time audiences come here and they suddenly see narration, it can be a little intimidating and stuff. I like the fact that in the dub here, they do still show the Japanese text and everything, even in like the, you know, it's all there. So, you know, they didn't rub it out or anything. I don't think the Warriors of the Wind dub does either, but I've not seen the physical VHS version. I'm not sure if they do that or not. I don't even know if it's possible because of the way the wind moves and stuff. I don't know if you can key that out. But I really do like that there is a narration, and I think let's look at the translation here. 1,000 years after the collapse of industrial civilization, the Sea of Decay, a swamp exuding toxic vapors cover. So it's not too big of a deal when you explain what the Sea of Decay is, and it's like it's a swamp. Although it's not just a swamp, you know what I mean? Covered in earth, strewn with rusting ruins, threatening human survival. It's okay. It's just a little robotic, I think. Threatening human survival. This is the sub that there's some versions. 1,000 years have passed since the Great War destroyed the industrial civilization. So this is interesting. It's adding a new bit of information. And you're already trying to absorb all the other information of like it's the industrial civilization, 1,000 years and everything. Throwing that in, it could be more accurate. I mean, here's the Japanese. I'm not super, but both of them, actually the Cornell. I think this is the Cornell translation. They don't mention the Great War, so this might have been a liberty from Toyoka. But I did feel like it's I think it's a little too much information to give. And I also like that the war is alluded to a little bit later. I think it's a little too early to give that, personally. Leaving barren lands of rust and ceramic. I like this line. Rust and ceramic is very visual, like descriptive. Across these wastelands, a deadly jungle of fungi has been slowly spreading, releasing poisonous vapors and threatening these. This is a really good translation. I honestly think it's awesome. Is this like a succinct amount to read for an audience before in the time you're watching this movie? I'm not sure. I think it's close. I think it gets, because this is obviously the G-Kids subtitles are definitely a lot shorter, but you think about having to break this up into subtitles, you'd probably have to do that, and then maybe just you'd have to break it into two. And that's tough if there's no audio and everything. Maybe you have this on the top and this on the bottom, kind of like what you have with the visuals here. With at least my rip has these like this. Actually, this is a different translation altogether. So there's a lot of different ways you can go about this. And this is actually, so this is the dub. It's also pretty succinct. 1,000 years have passed. I like have passed. I really do like that. So the collapse of industrialized civilization, industrial civilization, they're both fine, but I think this bounces off better. I think this just rings better in my opinion. And then yeah, toxic jungle now spreads, and it's important that he's reiterating the same terminology that Yupa just said, to kind of help the guiding the audience along. It's like, hey, remember he said toxic jungle? It's that thing, you know. Threatening the survival of the last of the human race. I'm so biased. I'm so sorry. You know, the way Tony J here, I made sure to give his name, gives this at the end. Let me play the whole thing. Again, I'm sorry if this.
1,000 years have passed since the collapse of industrialized civilization. A toxic jungle now spreads, threatening the survival of the last of the human race.
Are you kidding me, dude? Like, let's go. It's so perfect. The graveliness at the end, and the dramatic weight, and then obviously like when this comes into the title screen with how beautiful the soundtrack is and everything. Fucking hell. It's perfect. Or if I keep not, I'm gonna go on these rants and then read chat, but my perspective is dub right now. Reminds me of Garzy's wing delivery. Aloof in the first, yeah. It's just somewhere in the world 1,000 years. Wow, okay. Where's my Tony J being awesome? A little wordy. And the furigana you need to squint at if you're a Jap. Yeah. The font isn't helping. No, you're right. If you've explained the metaphor, it might be better. Yeah. Italian dub explicitly says it. Sound effect factories. Yeah, the Japanese doesn't mention the Great War. Yeah, tad cumbersome. Very succinct paired Nintendo. Still gives me shivers. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna go dub. But the Warriors of the Wind does kind of do something different with the narration here. They don't necessarily have any narration in this clip, but I think they cut a lot of the credits and they skip right to this, if I'm not mistaken. And this is what they go with.
It is a time when the world is still recovering from the 7 days of fire.
So they're bringing that up.
An event that left many civilizations in ruin and others gone forever.
It's interesting that they're showing this when like it's shown in the title sequence, but they're not like narrating it while like the narration and the visuals are not matching up. But it does the title credits, the credit scene does mention the Great War, but just in visuals and just showing you those things, but out of context, it makes it very mysterious and interesting. But I think they cut that sequence almost completely for Warriors of the Wind, but they have it here instead. They're just explaining it.
It is a time when the wind only blows in one place, the Valley of the Wind.
I guess so.
And in this valley, a spirited princess named Zandra dedicates herself.
What's the soundtrack they're using here? I don't even recognize it. It's like some weird wind, like kind of indigenous music or something. It's kind of nice.
And in this valley, a spirited princess named Zandra dedicates herself to a tomorrow of peace and joy and hope.
That is so pulpy. That is so pulpy. I really like it though, because like the freaking it dedicates herself. It's like it dedicates herself to truth, justice, and the American way. You know, it's just I just got. Speaking of pulpy, I'm sorry, this is off topic. I recently went book shopping at Maryland or whatever, and I got these books called Cage World. Let me pull up the peace and joy and hope. Yeah. Yeah, so I got these books called Cage World. The first book's called Search for the Sun. And they were bundled in 4. It is a 4-book series, and I got all 4 of them. And it's British 1982 space thing. I'm very looking forward to diving in. But even if I never read these books ever, at least they look pretty cool on my shelf, you know. The back of this is nice, you know. Like the second book's called The Lost World of Kronos. And everything. The first 2 books are actually signed by the author, The Tyrant of Hades, and Star Search. Look at that. Back of that book. I'm sorry, this is so off topic. But, you know, I like pulpy stuff. I'm not going to be like, whoa, my serious anime. with Nausicaa or whatever. I get it. Intention's all there. Like we're all on the same page. But yeah. Whoops. Yeah. In America, the great destruction of the Hideaki Anno and his crushing ambition. Right. I think there's a little bit more. Hold on.
But the forces of evil are everywhere, closing in from the north and south, while a toxic jungle is rapidly sweeping across the land. And soon, they will invade the Valley of the Wind.
Ooh, yeah. It's fun. If Princess Sandra sounds pulpy, it probably because the name comes from a similar character in the 40s Tarzan film. Perfect. All right, that's dub. All right, here's the first line from Nausicaa herself. We'll be hearing a lot from Sumi. Oh, shit. I have the name. Hold on. Sumi Shimamoto and Allison Lohman. Not a big name. She was in Drag Me to Hell. That's about it. Maybe some other things, but of course some other things. But she's not as well known. But she's perfect. She is probably the reason I love this film so much. That her particular voice and her delivery and everything. So sorry if so many of them are gonna. Even though I love Sumi, I love her in Maison Ikoku. I love her in Cagliostro and everything. I like her a lot. But man. Yeah, Nausicaa. All right. All right. There's the sub, and it does sound like she's wearing a mask, kind of, very whispery, and she played a character named Sandra in Big Fish right before she did the. Oh, sweet. Oh my God. That's a nightmarish coincidence. You can't be serious. I don't know why I didn't know she was in Big Fish. That's awesome. I like that movie a lot. Oh, the biggest debate is she wearing pants? Yeah, she's wearing pants. Oh, she's absolutely wearing pants. I guess you can't tell in like the very beginning of the movie because you don't see her skin and her legs together all that often in the same shots because like you got a lot more shots like this, so you don't see them at the same time. But if you did, you would tell that they are different colors, very, very slightly, but they are. Anyway, here's the dub.
Tracks. Looks like they're still fresh.
Ah! So, I think Allison plays so much more humility and compassion than Sumi, generally. And this is a really good example of that. So the translation, and Ohm's tracks, they're still fresh. Yeah, okay. An Ohm trail, still fresh. A path of an Ohm, it's still fresh. None of these translations are good. Compared to Ohm tracks. Looks like they're still fresh. So like Ohm is the first time that they're mentioned. This is the first time Ohm are mentioned. So we get like an Ohm's tracks, an Ohm trail, a path of an Ohm. Ohm tracks. It's perfect. It's way better. Come on. And then it's still fresh. Still fresh. They're still fresh. Looks like they're still fresh. Dude. And it like what's so great about I think part of the reason that this dub is so effective is because so many of these lines don't have lip flaps. Yupa's lines are all like ruffles of his beard, and so you have a lot more flexibility in what you can say because there's also all the debate of like the Japanese care less about the lip flaps than the Americans, blah 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 blah. Even just that, I mean, yeah, it is pretty much it kind of is just that where like, well, no, obviously it depends on the anime. There are some anime that don't do this, but like, the voice acting is kind of for a lot of them, and I don't know if this is the case with Nausicaa. They are recorded before the animation, and the animation can kind of finagle itself to match what the voice performance is to an extent, because it's it's the original and that's what's being made with it. Sometimes that's not the case. Other times they are literally being animated to the specific mouth shapes and shit, or whatever. There's different movies that have different approaches, but dubs unilaterally are watching the animation and trying to match it. And again, the Americans, they do care a little bit more that the lips don't look too off or anything. But when the mask is on, or the beard and everything like that, and or behind the head, when there's more lines like that, there's more opportunity for you to add little lines to make it sound more natural. So like you might not have been able to get this Matatashi. Looks like they're still fresh. Actually, you kind of could have. You actually might have been able to. But yeah, let's listen to Sumi one more time. So she's like surprised. She sounds a little more surprised than Allison here. Homo no michi. Wow. Oh my gosh. And then yeah. I think what's more I think the Ohm tracks is definitely a lot more effective between the two than Matatashi and Looks Like They're Still Fresh, but like still, I think it's a combination of the translation being a little more natural, and Allison again giving like just I think a much better performance here, because
Ohm tracks.
There's a slight tinge, and I could just make shit up, but it sounds a lot more like she's discovering it and not like surprised. She's like, oh, there's the Ohm tracks. Ohm tracks. Yeah, she's more like she's thinking a lot. She's a lot more in her head a lot more, which matches her characterization a lot later in the movie, like when she's in the Tolmekian ship and she's like, she has the same exact tone where she's like, the air beneath the clouds must be charged with poisonous gas. Like she's just thinking to herself a lot of the time, because she's by herself so often, even just politically. Just like her being the only one that cares this much about the toxic jungle, she doesn't have anyone to talk about this with. So she really is, she's so often talking to herself and trying to she should be more inquisitive and thinking and processing and sounding like that more. And I think Allison nails that a lot more, at least from my perspective. Now, so I'm gonna go dub, but let me see what people are thinking. A lot of the early dialogue can be cut completely. We'd still be able to follow. Yep. One of the most positive U.S. reviews of Warriors. First pantless assumption. She's Kyoko in depth? Yes. When I first saw this on Cartoon Network, I thought she was pantless. That's fair. We ended up with Nausicaa talking to herself. Yep. Yeah, more passive. Does give less aggression. Technically has better dub lip sync wise. Oh, wow. Because the ADR did live action for 20 years. I think Allison's great during the quiet parts. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Okay. We're going to go dub. We're at 3 lines and 44 minutes. This is going great. Oh, this one's funny as fuck. Okay. The Warriors of the Window one is really funny here. Because it's like the first time she speaks. Okay. Here's the Japanese, and you know the drill.
ホームの抜け殻すごい完全な抜け殻なんて初めて A perfect ohm shell. Amazing. I've never seen a whole shell before.
The shell of a giant gorgon.
Oh man, so like that line is like the first time you hear her speak, and they renamed, when you find out they renamed Ohm to Gorgons. Oh man, that's great. The shell of a giant gorgon. I'm sorry that spoils it, but yeah, man, wow. So I mean, my opinion on Zandra's performance, she's very clearly a much older actress. I'm sorry, like I don't think it hit all that well. She doesn't sound that young, so it's not great, not too good. But at least she's excited. She's the shell of a giant gorgon. Like, she does give it her best. I will give her that. She's not like phoning it in. Sumi is so breathless in this scene. She's like, like. Well, let's first compare the two the gasps here. Okay. They're kind of similar. I think Allison's a lot more controlled. I think she's a lot more like kind of deal. But and that again leads to her characterization being a lot more measured and having been in this jungle for so much of her life and everything. I feel like it's a little closer to her character. Even just the gasp, even just like, come on, it's just a gasp. Like, I've listened to this movie 40 times. Like, yeah, do not fuck with me. Anyway, so I was just noticing, listening to that for again back just now, I realized that I think that sounded a lot similar to her initial line of like, Omanamichi, Omanakera. And maybe that's a good way to kind of connect the two things together, be like, oh, it's the tracks and the shell are the same thing, which they are. I just found it a little repetitive this early in the movie, or a little too hand-holdy, perhaps. I prefer that she emphasizes perfect ohm shell.
A perfect ohm shell.
Oh, it's great. I really like that. An ohm husk. Amazing. Well, I'll go with the Sugoi over here. But we'll just go an ohm husk, an ohm's shell, a cast-off skin of an ohm. It's very specific, but okay. I think this is so succinct and so descriptive, and all you need. It's Kompeki, as it be. Amazing. I think Allison does better with the amazing here. Just because I assume he's a little more breathless. Like, Sugoi. It's cute. I do like it. Sugoi. It's all right. It's cute. But I think the fact that Allison sounds like she's like narrating to herself almost, like it's like a document, like a nature documentary or something. It's like, oh, right here, crikey, we got an ohm shell. Amazing. I fuck with that more. And then yeah, I've never seen a whole shell before. Because that's emphasizing that she's seen shells before, but like a whole shell is like, whoa. I forgot they do how magnificent. I will always want Sugoi to be translated as how magnificent. I've never seen a perfect shell. I've never seen a complete husk before. This is the first time I've ever seen a perfectly shed skin. Very verbose. Very, very verbose. I've never seen a complete husk before. I've never seen a perfect shell. It's right there. I like the before to be like implying that she's seen other shells before. And then whole shell, I think, is a much better way of phrasing it than complete or perfect. I mean, perfect over here. I like that they moved perfect like over here at the beginning, though. Yeah, I'm gonna go dub on this one. I love the scene where the ohm's revealed. Shell Riva, just so blunt to the point. Yeah, a Gorgon. At Suzanne's worst, one of my friends joked she sounds like the Let's Eat Lunch Together. I actually haven't seen Bible Black, but that's fair. Useless trivia. The Gamalians are also renamed Gorgons in the export dub of. Really? You know what? That feels like that tracks. I feel like I don't know if I've heard that before, but I feel like I have for some reason. Yeah, of course. Oh my god. So okay, so I don't even have the. Oh no, because there's no Warriors line here. They cut this part. Okay. There's a lot of words here. Iota. I'm gonna actually hold on. I did this just in case for visuals and stuff. She's wincing a lot. So that's part of the analysis here. Her giggling. Mm-hmm. Yep. I have to be like talking a little bit in between here just to like get the copyright. I don't know if this will work or not. We'll see. But yeah, so there's a lot to that. There's some couple noises and stuff that she also makes, and then of course there's the dialogue too. But let's give Allison's performance.
A perfect sound.
Yeah.
It even chipped a zirconian ceramic sword.
Zirconian ceramic
This should make
sword?
the people of the valley happy. We won't have to worry about finding materials for making tools for a long time.
She gets to talk a lot there. She gets to fill in a lot of detail there because, again, she's climbing up this thing without, with the mask and everything. So there's a lot more they can fill out here. And it's a long enough scene, you know. She's spending time climbing it up. Yeah, why not? Why not use that space? So let's so we'll go start with the grunt. I don't know. Lovely sound, good sound. What a lovely sound. I think out of the sub translations, I think this is the best one. A perfect sound. I like that matches with when she says a perfect shell, perfect sound. You know, it's like, ooh, you know. I think there's good synonymous thing there. Even though like Iota is cute, is really, really cute. It also just sounds like she's a lot more knowledgeable, right? She's like, good sound. Yeah, it's like that sweetness. That's a 10, baby. So she gasps there. I think Sumi gasps here too. She kind of giggles a little bit. She's like, yeah. So I think she's a lot more delighted in that. I think she's like, you know, like a little gasp, like, oh, because it could have been a perfect shell, but like a shit sound or something, you know. Yeah, perfect sound. And it even works really well with how expressive and big her eyes are drawn here. Watch. Oh, shoot, I can't because I fucking stupid. Look at that.
A perfect sound.
Kind of like really look it up. Iata. I guess it works both ways, actually. It wasn't as, their eyes weren't as big as as I remembered. Anyway, the nuances. So that they wince. Yeah. She winces a lot more here, I think. She's like that actually kind of hurt. You know, she's a lot stronger here. Sumi is really much like keeping it pent up, like, you know, but she's by herself, you know. Lowen could kind of be like, ha. Sorry, we're overanalyzing this. Yeah, they giggle a little bit after they hit it really hard. Really cute. Oh my god. She doesn't actually giggle that much. She still kind of has the gaps and everything. She's just really shooken up. I think that actually fits a lot better. Or maybe that kind of gives how crazy strong Nausicaa is that she can do that, and then she's like, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of torn on that actually. Yeah, so it chipped my ceramic sword. The ceramic sword got chipped. It chipped the ceramic. It even chipped, you know, again, these words that are a little more descriptive and comparative. It even chipped a zirconian ceramic sword. That's a little more sci-fi little pulpy term. That's nice. That's nice. I like those more descriptions and stuff. It even chipped a zirconian ceramic sword. This should make the people of the valley happy, as like the valley people will be happy. The valley folk will be so happy. The villagers will be pleased. Like, you're gonna see this over and over and over again. For some reason, these subs cannot stop sounding like robots. I don't know. Like, that's perfectly fine translations, but it's, you know, it's fine. But pleased, be so happy. That's better. We'll be happy. This should make the people of the valley happy. This should do it, you know? Should make the valley. Yeah, I'm looking at all the different translations. That's not there. The people of the valley is much better than the villagers, the valley folk, the valley people. Like, come on. What do we do? Come on, it's right there. This is the people of the valley. The people of the valley. Got to protect the people of the valley. That's going to happen. So the terminology there, it's not even like a specific term, but the way you phrase that is like, what is even the Japanese of that? I'm sorry, it's not. I'm sorry, I didn't end up spending time. I thought I did. Sorry, copy pasting, all the Japanese and everything. But the way she says here. Tani no hito. I think that's the phrase, really. That's going to be used a lot. Tani no hito. Did I do that? Double more of a chuckle. It's real disconnected. It doesn't flow. This is the end of the valley, people. Yeah. Um, right. So I just think that works way better. The people of the valley happy. And then this whole line here, what's the sub say? They'll have plenty to make into tools now. All right. We'll have materials to make all our tools for years. A specific term, years, for years. They wouldn't have to worry about materials to make tools out of for quite some time. It's almost the same as the dub here. They wouldn't have to worry, but then the dub, we won't have to worry. It's her people. She's the princess of the Valley of the Wind, right? We won't have to worry. Also, we wouldn't have to worry. We won't have to because I found it. We got it. It's ours. Game over. We got it. This should make it. We won't have to worry about finding materials to make tools out of, finding materials, right? Like the task specifically that she's happy that they don't have to do anymore, finding materials. For what? For making tools, make tools out of, materials for making tools. It's just so succinct and like perfect for a long time. And I prefer that to be vague because it's just like, this will sustain us for now, for a long time. Is a long time for her a year? Is it 5 years? We have no frame of reference for that, but that's fine because it's a personal statement for her. I just think it works much better. Yeah. So that's a dub. That's a W. It's a dub W. It's real. Yeah. 24-hour AI Nausicaa stream. Yeah. I have to make my depart. Oh, good seeing you, Nago. It's ours. We took it. It's ours. Yeah. Okay. Next line. Sugoi me. Let's go. So it's a one eye. Incredible. They don't. This translation doesn't even like mention that she's referring to the eye specifically. An amazing eye. What? So like this just basically combines the two possible ones in together, and it's just like really, and it was like, and then maybe I could fly back with this one. No period. I wonder if I'll be able to fly with this. I wonder if I can carry it. I wonder if I can fly back home with it. Black home. Did you see with this or with it? Sorry, hold on. Let's listen to Loman.
What an amazing eye. I wonder if I could fly back home with this.
She does say with this specifically. I just think it's better. I don't know what to tell you guys. Yeah, no. I think this is pretty much a tie. Like that's pretty interchangeable. But then I wonder if I can fly back home with this is really key because it's again that she has somewhere to go back to. She's not just aimlessly wandering in the toxic jungle or something, fighting for her life or something. This is an expedition. She's out hunting for stuff, and she has a home that she can go back to. Which is the first, again, they have not been implying that really, when you first see her. So for that reason, and also just like, I don't know, I do really like Sumi's performance here, and I don't think Allison necessarily tops it the same way. Again, she has a little more of inquisitiveness, but it's kind of similar. But I'm going to say dub for that one for those reasons. Subarashi. Sugoi me. Cool. Okay. All right, this is I put the it cuts up a little weird, Warriors of the Wind in this part. But I just put it at the end over here. It's funny. Oh, she's so cute. I love her. Nanda. Wow. Oh my god. It's so cute. She's very delighted by it. Oh, and she fucking is giggling. Oh my god. And that's such an important, I think that lightheartedness is actually really important to give in this context because it's the first time she's really And obviously it leads into a really magical scene of these spores and stuff and this music. So that needs to be especially cute to contrast the forest of death that she's in. So that's really important to get right, I think. And Allison, I don't think really surpasses it. I think she's about even. And my rule is, because I'm so heavily biased in the dub, and I do believe what Trixie is saying, where it should be even. The dub should surpass the sub, or else there's no reason to have the dub. Like, if the dub is just serviceable, that's not necessarily a reason to go watch it. It should be if the dub should be better, or so. By my rules, if the dub doesn't have a technical advantage, like a good enough advantage, I'm gonna give it to the sub. So I probably will give it to sub in this one. She really grunts in that one there. Yeah.
It came off.
It's crazy how accurate, how similar Allison sounds in that line to Sumi here.
It came off.
I think it's dead to nuts. It's really close. But then yeah.
It's so light.
I love her. It's not giggly, but I think that's important to really emphasize the context. I think it's more in character for Nausicaa to not be super girly giggly, in my perspective, at least through the whole film. The manga's not being in consideration, by the way. It's just not. Within the context of the film, I think it makes more sense for her to have a little more control and more gasps for laughter instead of like outright giggling. But the giggling is really, I think it's really perfect for this part of the movie where she's delighting in it, and then the really cute music plays and the snow the spores and everything. I'm gonna give it to sub there. And the translation's really not much. It's whatever. It came free. Got it. Got it. Like, you could. I know there might be some people that could be this like, oh, why don't you just use dub titles? Because that sure be great. That would be kind of. It would end up being completely defeating the purpose of looking at the different translations, right? You have to look at specifically what they are saying in the Japanese, and all three of these are more accurate than some oftentimes than the real ones. So you do still have to consider it, even though they're not good. I think all three of almost every time so far they've been kind of lacking in my perspective. Yeah, like if you're given the chance to reperform the movie, aim for the top. Oh yeah. But here's the it's Horse in the Wind.
The eye. Perfect.
Yeah, and then it just goes right into right after she grabs it, thing plays, and the next scene. This completely skips this Kino scene over, which is why we are not even bothering analyzing the Warriors of the Wind dub. We're just showing it for posterity. I agree. I like a bit more subdued voice acting. Yeah, for sure.
The Mushigo palms are sending out their afternoon spores.
Aw. Okay, so the G-Kids just says palm spores. They don't even give that much detail about it. I think it's way better that the official and all of these are sending out or spreading their afternoon spores. I like the their. I prefer using their as a personifying term because, she's so attached to the jungle that she's kind of personifying all the creatures and wildlife and everything. So instead of its, she doesn't really use its that much. I could be wrong about that. If I'm proven wrong, then that's fair. But she usually is personifying these guys. Even just like later on, like a minute later, she like steps on one of them. She's like, "Oops, sorry," right? Yeah. So that's not good. But anyway. The Mushi Yogashi, yeah, so it's like Mushi Goyashi, Mushi Bayashi, Mushigo Palms. Mushigo Palms, so just you say not even spores?
The Mushigo palms are sending out...
Right. I really like that they separated Mushigo Palms and spores here. I mean, they do it here as well, but that's what... This is such a weeb thing to do, my guy. Like, I know this is an unofficial translation, but like, hey, translate that, please. Right? Mushigoyashi is one of the more puzzling Nausicaa terms. It's been interpreted as insect fertilizer substance by fans, but current subs in Buena Vista interpret palm. Animage called it wamuk, bread fungus in the manga translation. Isn't them correct for multiple inanimate objects? That's true. That's fair. That's true. It might be more grammatically correct. Yeah, I just think the translation is really beating this one for dub. I'm not as much about splitting hairs about what the specific terminology is, but I like that it's translated to something that sounds like English. You know, like Mushigo Palms instead of Mushio Gayashi or whatever. Obviously, it's like Mushigo. I think this is as good a translation as you can make it, honestly, at least to my perspective. And then yeah, they're sending out their afternoon spores. And let's just give it one more about the performance here. She doesn't gasp in the sub here. She's actually really taken aback, or like kind of has more like a because she can't believe she caught it, because she knows this phenomenon but wasn't expecting it. So there's a little more of a surprise and discovery. It's like, the Mushigo palms are sending their afternoon spores. Again, it's like a nature documentary, right? It's like you see this on PBS or whatever. I like that a lot more. There's a lot more. There is rhythm to that one, but she talks really fast. I think in general, Sumi's going to be talking like really like a lot more fast, a lot faster than Allison in a lot of cases, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm going to give that to dub. The eye perfect. There where we said boys, we can go have. All right, the eye. Better sense of wonder. Yeah, definitely. Kirei. All right, and that's it. I already know which one I prefer, but you know, it's obvious. So she says, "Kirei, so beautiful, a beautiful forest of death." No, dude, I'm sorry. That's giving it away way too quick. Yes, there's an oxymoron, and it's a beautiful contrast. It's a cool sentence, but it's way too strong to it's better to leave that a little bit later. I like that you just say kirei. It's also not what she says, right? All she says is kirei. I think this is a little overstepping the boundaries on translation here. I like how beautiful. So beautiful. One of those. And then it's so beautiful. I think the scene when she says it, I think it makes sense to say it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful, right? Though in this forest of death, your lungs would rot in 5 minutes without a mask. Who is she talking to? Who is she talking to? She's supposed to be talking to herself. Who talks in the second person like this? Without the mask, my lungs would rot in 5 minutes. Yeah, that's pretty. I think that's a better translation than the G-Kid subs. Even though this place is a forest of death where, if not for this mask, this is definitely a more literal translation. My lungs would decay in 5 minutes. Like, you can just like have this translation while listening to her. Maskuroshida. Oh, sorry. Right. It just like, I think it's just more literal translation as it be this second one usually. Yeah, but this is so great. So beautiful. It's hard. Sorry, I'll let Allison say it.
It's so beautiful. It's hard to believe these spores could kill me.
Boom. Kill you. Whoa! Whoa! Could kill you. Whoa! Right? It's that punch. And then none of the other ones have kill you. None of them have kill you in it. And again, obviously kill me instead of your lungs would rot in 5 minutes. Like, come on, dude. Would kill me. 5 minutes without a mask and I'd be dead. Again, having kill and then rewording it a different way to emphasize it with a different death word. So 5 minutes without, I'd be dead, right? and none of like my lungs would decay, my lungs would rot. Like you don't want to give this, you don't need to give the specifics. This is a movie, and the first couple minutes of a movie, even a newcomer, like Japanese, English, it doesn't matter. All you need to know is that she'd die if she takes the mask off, right? I think simplicity is way more important. It just punches way harder, and she sounds so devastated, honestly. She's just like, fuck, you know? Whereas Sumi, I think she's just kind of like, she has the exact same tone as she's been giving a lot of the rest of them. She's like, oh, wow, these could kill me. Kirei, wow.
マスクをしなければ5分で灰が腐ってしまう死の森なのに。
It just sounds very similar to the rest of her delivery. And obviously this is still in character too for Allison as well. It doesn't sound too different from what how she's been talking, but you can tell the writing is way better here just because she's landing on the right words. Every like kill me, dead. 5 minutes without a mask and I'd be dead. You know?
It's so beautiful.
Oh, she's so soft when she says that too. It's just like really mesmerized.
It's hard to believe these spores could kill me. 5 minutes without a mask.
She actually giggles a little bit. She actually gives a little like half-hearted like 5 minutes, right? Listen to that.
5 minutes without a mask and I'd be dead.
She's like, fuck. Fuck. Yeah, you know, yeah, it's way better. W. Less clinical procedural. Yeah. Okay. Next one. I think I've broken this up a lot more. I don't know.
Huh?
Huh?
誰?
Yeah, I have this as an entire... That's weird. I have it as different lines over here. Whoopsie. I already... My count's already off. Ugh. Because then I have to, like, reshuffle all the fucking numbers. Oh, my God. Whatever. I'm gonna, I don't know. I want to count this as one line, or I don't know what I'll do. I think normal delivery of the line is meaningful to her and all the people. Death in the toxic jungle, something long expected. The sub, you mean? Yeah. Napa on the Dippin' Dots. Yeah. To her and all the people, definitely is something long accepted. Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that still works well with Allison's performance because, you know, I guess the hard to believe is the point of contention here when it's like it's hard to believe, as if it's like a new phenomenon. But it's sort of just like a way to introduce that she doesn't have to be speaking at all. You know, I think it's excusable because of just movie dialogue, just because like she doesn't have to say this out loud, even in the subtitles, even in the Japanese. But she's saying that to really to contrast the beautiful sight with these are deadly, you know. So I think I understand that though. Okay, so it's a lot here, but we'll go through it all.
Huh? 誰?
It does complement her later lines with Yupa. Hard to believe. Oh, interesting.
Huh? 誰?
Dare.
Huh? What's that?
So that's a very interesting difference. So she goes, who is that? Dare. As in a person. And then the dub is like, what's that? And then the Warriors of the Wind, I believe.
Huh?
Oh, okay. It's way over there. She doesn't even have like the sitting up or anything. What's that? Versus who is that? I honestly think it makes more sense, just like logically, that she says, what's that? Because like, how does she know it's a person? Is she that good? Is she that godlike? Like, she's good. Don't get me wrong. But like, the jungle makes noise all the time. How does she know that it's a person? Who's that? Instead of what's that? I think what's that just makes more sense. She's so breathless and fast in this version. You know, it's like, oh, okay. I don't know. It's just a weird approach, I think. Versus Allison here.
My heart's pounding. What's going on?
She sounds really, I think she sounds a lot more frightened. She's like, oh fuck. And my heart's pounding. What's going on? My heart's, what can it be? My heart's pounding. I think it makes sense to do my heart's pounding. What's going on instead of narikashira mune ga doki doki suru. I think it's just like the heart pounding is like explaining I just think it's a better thing to lead on with, to lead with, to be like, my heart's pounding, what's going on? Instead of, what's going on? My heart's pounding. Do you know? It's hard to explain, but I just think that order just makes more sense. To do like, my heart's pounding, what's going on? Instead of like, what's going on? My heart's pounding. Hey, wait, you know, it's like she's referring to the heart almost when she says that. Yeah, I think that order just makes more sense. But obviously you could maybe use Japanese order or whatever. But yeah, it's even that way in the subs. What could it be? My heart's pounding, you know. Those are gunshots. Or yeah. So she goes. Again, she's like talking really fast. Those are gunshots. An insect is attacking someone. That's an insect gun. Someone's being attacked by insects. I don't know, man. I don't know if you need to. She does say Mushiju or something like that. Mushari no Jubi, you know, something like that. It's like she does say Mushi twice. So like, that was not an incorrect translation, but it's really awkward when written out like that. That's an insect gun. Someone's being attacked by insects. Like, huh? But then even the G-Kids I think is a little better. Those are gunshots. An insect is attacking someone. Right. Gunshots. Someone's in trouble. They actually add the someone's in trouble thing. I think it's to give you a purpose, being like, when she says someone's in trouble, that's like, so then what? So you're going to go help them. You know what I mean? When it's just, those are gunshots and it's like attacking someone. Just those lines by herself, it could just be like, oh, well, that's weird. Damn. Hope they're okay. You know? But when you say like someone's in trouble, it kind of, at least in English, it just feels that like very superhero-ish. Like, oh, that means you got to go help. Someone's in trouble. I got to go help them. You know, even just implicitly. And then she even just like, oh, gunshots. I think she doesn't even Sumi doesn't even gasp in the sub. Yeah, wait. Oh, she does. I'm sorry. Yeah, she's
Gunshots.
I like that Allison's a lot more quick on saying gunshots there. I think that was a smart move. Gunshots. It's just like, oh, it's an insect gun. Like this. Because they were waiting for, I'll turn the pictures off here. You notice that she kind of, they cut it so that they wait for the next cut for her to say the line. They wait for her to be on screen and then she says the line. Whereas
Gunshots. Someone's in trouble.
They use this shot right here to give a little line here. Again, that's the, you know, what they do with dubs. Because they're off screen, they can kind of say whatever. So they just go, oh, gunshots. Someone's in trouble. And it just seems like a lot more rhythmically sound, I guess. The insects must be attacking. The insects must be attacking instead of someone's being attacked by insects or an insect is attacking someone. I like it like a more general panic, like, uh-oh, guys, the insects are attacking. You know, like just generally, the insects must be attacking. You know, just a general kerfuffle and everything. I like that a lot more. Yeah, it's gonna go to dub. But then here's the words of the wind.
Huh? The sounds of fighting again.
The sounds of fighting again. It just the kind of an awkward translation, honestly. Word choice. Huh? The sounds of fighting again. And then yeah, they at the end here they go. Gomen.
Oops, sorry.
She does sound a lot more remorseful in the sub. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. Oh no, are you okay? And then Allison just makes it like, oops, I know you're okay because you're a super giant bug and me stepping on you is not going to hurt you at all. But I'm still, Still, sorry.
Oops, sorry.
Oops, my bad. Sorry. And then,
Sorry, guys.
yeah. It's lines like that I'm like, all right, the Warriors of the Wind dub isn't that bad because they don't completely they're not like blind, you know. She says sorry in that line, and they dub it. She says sorry, you know. I think I don't know, it works out well. Let me read this. So that's dub for a lot of different reasons. All right. In manga, she actually hears Ohm's raging thoughts. Oh, wow. So she thinks she hears human when it lets Ohm broadcasting go. Oh, yeah. So I guess that's probably the case because she does later hear. She does. It's weird because like she kind of comes off as if she's understanding them the way you like understand a dog or a cat, where you kind of are like, you're giving me signals and stuff. But you're right in terms of manga that she's telepathically linked with some of the Ohm and stuff. And there's also the case also with like, you know, them connecting with her and everything. But it's not as like directly. She never says in the movie like I can read their thoughts or anything like that. You don't even hear dialogue from any Ohm. So I think that's again to give that bit of separation between her and the audience, to give that air of mystery almost. But yeah, that's a good point. The scene always was a bit strange to me in the movie because we as an audience don't hear anything at first. Oh, true. No, for sure. It just means like, wow, she's crazy good hearing. Once we make a video on the main channel, I think finding a way to include mention of the samurai sword thing would probably be a fun fact a lot of people haven't heard of. I'm not sure what you mean by samurai sword. Oh, you mean zirconian ceramic sword? Considering how bad it is to use guns in the forest, I like the stronger emphasis on the shock fear in the Japanese dub. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's like, oh, no, they used a gun. Oh, no. You know? And that does reflect in what Yupa says later. He's like, I have no choice but to use my gun. It's like, I know it's a bad thing. I really, and obviously also with, I forgot his name. Shoot, Asbo. It's the same thing with Asbo when they're like, oh, hope he's not using his gun. Boom, boom, boom. Then again, maybe that's a tired and overdone fun fact. Sorry. No, you're fine. I mean, sorry, guys. It's pretty. It is cute. Yeah, some stuff works better in the narrative of the manga would be appropriate, like your ESP. No, for sure. And that's really why I don't necessarily want to count the manga too much, because you want to take this from the perspective of a new viewer, or you know, just from watching the movie. I don't know if it's I'm kind of analyzing it from that perspective, I guess. It's like, you know, as a newcomer or as I don't know, just including the manga like this. Well, in the manga, I don't know, it would get really complicated, I think, and misinterpret a lot of points that I'm trying to that I don't know, clouds it, I guess. All right, here's this next one, and I gotta get and I'll let this play as I drink.
そこだ。すごい胞子の煙。オウム、きっとあの抜け殻の主だわ。
There they are. Look at that cloud of spores. A gnome. It must be the one that shed that shell.
There, in the toxic jungle. It's an angry gorgon.
Oh my god. Where's the Wind is so fun, dude. Let me just go take over Where's the Wind first. Oh man, in the toxic jungle.
There, in the toxic jungle.
It's so funny, dude. It's crikey. Oh, it's so good. Really funny. And then this sounds like a fucking Pokemon. Who's that Pokemon? Da da da.
It's an angry gorgon.
Da da da. It's really funny. Good times. Okay, serious time. Over there. Okay, so there's 3 lines here, basically. Over there, there. So she says asokoda, I think. So quick and soft, too. Like, you know? Over there, there. This one doesn't even translate the there part, because it just goes right to smoke of spores. And then there they are. The people, like the insects must be attacking the kind of the multiple insects and stuff like that. And that also echoes when she says like there they are over here as well. Who's that? Could that be? That's there. I like the synergy of there they are. look at that cloud of spores. You know, it's like, who is she talking to? Again, it's kind of, why is she talking to herself at all, right? And again, it's emphasizing that nature documentary feeling, and how Miyazaki guides you through a movie. You know, it doesn't just show you things oftentimes. He's often talking, it's like, oh, it's this or whatever. He's not showing you things too much out of context so much. You see the impact and everything. Look at that cloud of spores. That's just like going through it. What a thick spore cloud. It's such a big cloud of spores. What a smoke of spores. What a smoke of spores. I think she says something that's descriptive about the spore cloud. It tells me Sugoi. So it's like thick. So they translated this thick spore cloud, big cloud. They don't they don't give a descriptor. So it's, you know, I like that there's, you know, as much as I was harping on earlier about giving specifics and descriptors, when it's through an eyeglass, the visuals, and you're like, look at that cloud of spores. So you can tell that it's spores at least. But all you need to see is right in front of you, just how tall it is and how massive it is just from that distance. I just really like that. Look at that cloud specifically. And Om. She just says Om. She's just like Om. I translating it as an Om makes sense, and then that's what the dub goes with as well. There's not much difference in the performance, in my opinion. There, that must have been its shell. That cross wire, like that, as in what you're looking at, or that back there must have. That's weird. It's kind of. It's not totally inaccurate, but it's awkward, right? It must be the one that left its skin. So, like, is the translation just sticking with skin specifically? Because I really like shell. The shell just makes sense, and it's visually makes more, like, with how hard it is. She's climbing on it, and she's taking the hard eye off to where, like, she's like, you know, she's poked at it. It's weird that it just says skin. You know, the shell I think makes more sense here. It must be the owner of the shed skin. Again, just keeps using shell. That must have been its shell. But yeah, an Om. It must have been the one that shed that shell. Yeah, it's just better wording, in my opinion. There, I don't think the performances are all that different.
An Om. It must be the one that shed that shell.
They even have very similar cadences to each other. And there, in the toxic jungle. But yeah, I think because of the translation specifically in that instance, I prefer the dub there. Which is why exactly why the movie streamlines a lot of things. I figure if they went with Kazunori Ito's draft, it would have been really verbose and unforgivable to people unfamiliar, unnavigable. No, absolutely. And that's such a huge part of Miyazaki's direction. When he's guiding you through the castle in Cagliostro, or guiding you going throughout the castle in Laputa, or even just before they get to the castle, just being able to follow the characters so well. Even following Nausicaa here, where, you know, you first see her gliding through the air, she lands in the jungle, she walks in the jungle, she's walking around the jungle a bit, she sees the shell, she hears something, she hops off the shell and runs around a bit, goes up to this thing, and then she runs, you see her slide back down the thing, come out of the jungle, fly a bit, follows you can follow her the entire fucking movie. It flies all the way back to her valley. It's like, it's so followable. And so that clarity is super important to Miyazaki. Yeah, I agree. In the toxic jungle? No way. It's not like she's in the toxic jungle herself. In the toxic jungle. Right. Thick Sugoi supply. Yeah. Thick Sugoi. Right. Okay. Sorry. This is the Warriors of the Woods. What's funny here too.
Whoever it's chasing will never escape that way. I hope they see this signal. Good, they're coming this way.
Doesn't say anything.
I'd better see what I can do.
What are you, NPC looking ass? I just love it that with the animation too here.
I'd better see what I can do.
And then, ah! can see the mask moving and she doesn't say anything. Oh, it's so funny. All right. There's a lot of differences in the translation with this one. Don't run that way. Look this way. They answered they're coming. Okay, so I think it's broken. I don't know how G-Kids necessarily breaks it up in their subs. I can't let him go that way. That's a little verbose. Like, I can't let him. Or I guess technically this is more verbose. Whoever's chasing will never escape that way. So I guess that's not a complaint. Wait, yeah, so let's just look at that first part. Whoever it's chasing will never escape that way. It shows her intuition here, where she's like, "Oh, it's chasing something. It's angry at something." She sees that it's angry, so it should be. It must be angry something. And also, I can't show the visuals of this part, but you see how it goes bow, 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 a little deeper into the jungle, and so it's like, well, whoever it's chasing, it's not going to escape that way. Like, it's going deeper into the jungle. It's like in a panic, it's going deeper in. So I think it's important. That supports the visuals of the film a lot better. To be like, well, can't be going that way. It still says that here is like, don't run that way. But this just gives added context of like whoever it is chasing, because clearly it's chasing someone. I can't let him go that way. The same idea. Come on. Look this way. I think she says oide. What'd she say here? Kinetsuite, like, see it, which is like, get it. Isn't Kizutsuite kind of like get with it? You know, it's just like wake up or something like that, like come to your senses or something like that. Come on, look this way. I hope they see the signal. I like that. Again, it's supporting Miyazaki's direction here, where she's doing something and she for a particular reason, and it's helping the audience go through of what she's doing. She's like, whoa, what'd she shoot there? Is she shooting at the ohm? Is she doing whatever? And it's like, I mean, you can imply that through the visuals, because you see it's like sailing up through there. But I like that the dub clarifies, like, hope they see the signal. That's what it is. This one, the direct one does say, mustn't go, escape that way. Please see the signal. Right. Kinosite. She doesn't necessarily say that in the sub, but yeah, that's fair. He answered. He's coming this way. Kotaite. I think she kochi kuru, right?
Kotaite, kochi kuru.
Yeah. Kotaite. Good translation of that. They answered. They're coming. There, here he comes. Good. I really like I do like the kind of affirmation sort of thing here, instead of like, he answered, or they answered, right? It's just like, good, they're coming this way. Like, she just kind of implicitly sees that. All right, cool. I just like that a lot better. And then the performances, I don't think I have much to say, really. She's really breathless and everything.
Whoever it's chasing will never escape that way. I hope they see this signal. Good, they're coming this way.
Yeah, this is a little more, her performance here is a little more chastising. She's like, come on, you're not going to go that way. And then this is a lot more compassionate, and then more affirmation. There's like a difference in all three of her lines here. Whereas Sumi, I think, kind of sounds very similar in all three lines. She definitely has a little more like energy in the last line, but I feel she feels very similar in all three of those lines there too. I'm gonna give that to dub as well. Okay.
There they are.
Lord Yapa!
Warriors just gives it away very quickly. Okay. Lord Yopa. But so I like that she doesn't really get a whole idea of who's there, even though she probably knows who they are. Anahitowa. It's just like, that person is kind of the direct translation, I think. Anahitowa. But they translate as, who's that? Could that be? I think that's is the closest out of these. I think that's the closest, yeah. But it's like, Anahitowa, I was like, that guy is, I would translate it as like, wait, that's something like that. Because she's notices like, oh, wait, I know who that is. You know, she's like realizing it. But then I like that it's a little more straightforward. Again, it's reaffirming what she says earlier, being like, there they are, look at that cloud of spores. But then because she knows she's chasing that the ohm was chasing something. So it's like, oh, there's the person that came out. And then the answer and everything. There they are. I like that that performance a lot better. And then I think the delivery is similar.
There they are.
Lord Yupa!
All right. You can tell so far, for the most part, almost all of the preferences has to do with the translation of the direct choices of words. Very nuanced and granular. Hey, so we're like about I don't know, maybe halfway. Yeah, this is the end of this is the last one, right? Yeah, we're only, oops. Where are we at? Oh, yeah. That's perfect. We're about there through the whole thing. About an hour and a half in. Let me know if you guys are enjoying the stream so far. I want to take a little break, I guess. Not a super long break. Awesome. AP Latanzi, great to see you. Hello. Great to see. Good to hear from Postboy. Thank you. I'm happy you're liking it. Suffering from Prince Charles syndrome. Sheesh. Yeah, it's great to hear you, AP. Yeah, though. I don't know how long this will go. I hope to finish this section of it, or at least the area I wanted to get to, but I might have to chug a little faster and stuff. There might be some lines where I don't have anything to say, and the sub will just get it automatically. But I love this movie too much. It'll be hard to. And this was only like 50 lines, or like 46. It's actually much fewer lines than subsequent chunks, so I might have to actually cut this even further, like, and make it like 16 streams or something. Oof. This is a good mix. This is a good remix. Alright. Like, yeah. I can't say anyone who just does the work of going line for line is super interesting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. This is a unique thing, and I don't know why no one's done it before. Alright, we're back. Oh, I wanted to ask, I've seen the Palette reviews and movies, but not the TV show. How's the quality of the visuals there? They're alright. The TV does okay. I don't think they were, like, significantly worse or anything like that. Certainly the OVA looks better in places. It's hard for me to say, though, because it's like, I feel like the OVAs particularly were just able to do more stored narratively. And the TV series, I think, was a little less ambitious. It has a more recurring narrative throughout. It has more of an more of a story arc. I don't think the visuals were that much worse, though. It also goes 12 segments, 6 reels. Maybe you could try that. Do it by that. What's that delineated by? That is interesting. I would like that. Although it's a lot of only 6. I already split it into 8, so, and that already seems like a lot. So 6 might be really a lot, but maybe. Okay, let's go for this one. Oh, Nandaripanom.
What an amazing own.
You're a beauty, my friend, but just too dangerous.
Just too dangerous. Oh, jeez. I think I gave it a sub on that one. Because you said, what a magnificent ohm, what a splendid ohm. Like, it's not too different. And I think there's like a little cute rhythmic thing that Sumi does, like Nandaripanom. it's cute. It's cute. And, you know, and I honestly think the way Allison has it here, it's kind of redundant to before her previous performance, where she's like, "What a perfect ohm shell" and stuff like that. What an amazing eye.
What an amazing own.
Yeah, because she actually says, "What an amazing ohm." I don't know why I put magnificent here. It's kind of like, "What an amazing eye. What an amazing ohm." It's that's a little too redundant, I think. But at least this one would be like, "Lampanipanom." It's cute. I'm gonna give it a sub. All right. Chugging.
Summon!
Nice. Summon. Summon. So we have 2 lines here.
Get upwind of it!
Right!
Right into the wind!
Okay.
The three genders. Oh man. This one's tough. I might give it a sub just for default.
Summon!
I think it's because Yupa says Suman instead of right. I like that Patrick Stewart just kind of hoists the gun and be like, right!
Get upwind of it!
Right!
It's like a camaraderie type of thing, you know, and that's great. Like the first time you're seeing the two of them together, for like before they have the little more like mentoree type of relationship, the first thing you see of them doing with talking with each other is more like working out a problem, which is probably something they have to do a lot in their, you know, in their history and stuff. I think that's just, or even if this was just a stranger at this point in the movie, actually, you don't realize that they know each other. So this actually kind of gives a little bit more of a humanity type thing where it's humanity against the bugs and stuff. So even if like the complete strangers get upwind of it, it's like helping a stranger on the bus or something. And it feels a lot more supportive, and like him having a rousing agreement. I actually think it might be better in dub.
Summon!
Asoko ni iru. You can hide over there or something like that. Asoko ni iru. So like that, it's like go upwind to the windward side. I don't know why they translate it that way, because I feel like she just says Asoko ni iru like that way. Am I wrong? Let's find out let's get the raw and find out. Hold on. This is why I got the Japanese script. Open up. Okay. Nausicaa raw. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't have it prepared here. I don't know why I didn't. I thought I did. I know toa. So let's see. I have to interpret this because, you know, I know toa. Nampani baum. Oh, ripaum. There it is. Yeah. Nanteripao. Oh, and this is the furigana on top of the okay, cool. Nanteripaum. Kaza kami. What? Oh yeah, suman. Right. So what did she say there? She does. So it looks like it's like to the windward side, but I just want to hear the. Kamikaze. Kazakamiye. Right? Yeah, she does say that. Very kind of chaotically, but she does say Kazakamiye. So all the translations are right there. Yeah, I also like get upwind of it. Like get up with it. Like go upwind or go upwind. I like that. But thank you or thanks. I think right just has more of camaraderie to it. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to dub for that one, honestly. Your endpoint is a little after the first stripes reel. Oh, okay. Watching Maze on Okoku makes me want to try the Pat Labor TV show. Yeah. Pally for TV is a different style than the OVAs and movies. Mechanical detail and whatnot is very solid. The moments of comedy, difference of direction. Yeah, it's direction really is the big difference. This one's tough. I do like the hefty Suman. Yeah, that's true. Suman. Yeah, yeah. I I agree with the performance. Might be is could lean that way. I think it's because it's like Suman is like, oh thanks, yeah. But like Yuba would know that, you know. I just feel like she's like, oh, go over there, and he's like, yep. I don't know, right? Considering wind comes from Valley's opening, isn't Yuba who goes to Valley already going upwind? I probably. I don't know. Fair point. Okay. There's a couple different lines of this one.
オウム森へお帰りこの先はお前の世界じゃないのよねえいい子だから光に我を忘れてる沈めなきゃ
I'm gonna keep the frozen part here because I was worried about
世
that.
界じゃないのよねえいい子だから光に我を忘れてる沈めなきゃ
Yeah. So there's 4 lines. There's kind of 4 lines here. It's the return to the forest dome. This is not your world. Be a good boy. It's blinded by rage. Suzuminika. I gotta calm him. All right.
Oh, go back to the jungle. This is not your world. Come on now, be good. Look at those red eyes. It's blind with rage. I've got to calm it.
Okay. I will do the Warriors of the Wind at the end. But yeah, so return to the forest dome. Or I like this translate like both times where they go go back to the jungle, where it's just that trying to address it specifically, like talk to it. Right? So that's the same in both sub and dub. You need to go back to your jungle. This is not your world. Or the subs with return to the forest dome. This is not your world. Go back to the jungle. This isn't your world out here. Out here is good because it's like in this desert part. This is not your world out here. I like that. I like that this is not your world. Feels a little more compact and succinct, I guess. A little more punchy. As much as I like that detail, though. Go back to the jungle. You need to go back to your jungle. I like this. Back to your jungle. She says that, right?
Go back to the jungle.
Go back to the jungle?
Go back to the jungle.
Go back to the jungle. Actually, I'm sorry. I am incorrect. You need to go. Wait a minute. Go back to the jungle. Not even you need to.
Go back to the jungle.
Go back to the jungle, yeah. She actually just says that. I'm sorry, go back to the forest, go back to the jungle, go back to the jungle. Really, the only translation difference is the out here part. Come on now, be good. Be a good boy. Be a good child. Be a good child. She does say ikoda. Ne. She says ne. Which is supposed to be what the dub is. Come on now. Ne. Right? So this is what the direct one says. C, be a good child. That's weird. Because she says ne as C later on. I think that's why they're translating it that way. Ne just equals C. Like literally. But that doesn't make grammatical sense here. It's like, see, be a good child. like, see what? Like, what? And then just be a good child ignores the ne. And yeah, be a good boy ignores the ne as well. But I was like, come on now. I really don't want to do anything. I really don't want to do anything other than just convince you. Than just talk to you. Come on now, be good. I also like just be good instead of be a good child. Be a good child. Be a good boy. That's what the be a good giant and don't give me a hard time. I just like be good because it keeps it being like gender neutral and age neutral. It's just a bug. It's like, come on, just be good. I like that more. Look at those red eyes. It's blind with rage. Again, it's that guiding the audience through being like giving him, kind of feeding you the visual cues, be like those red eyes. But obviously it's gonna contrast later. You can see the red eyes and then the blue eyes. It's like, oh yeah, I can see the difference now, visually. But I like that they go, look at those red eyes. He's forgotten himself with anger. He's too angry. It's blinded by rage. You know what I mean? So many of these translations, there's so much to be desired. They leave so much to be desired. Look at those red eyes. It's blinded by rage. Yeah, they don't even mention the red eyes at all. Never mind the look at. It's blind with rage. And she says blind with rage specifically multiple times in the movie. Like, that phrasing is similar to, like, People of the Valley, right? What is that in the raw? Ne, iko dakara. Yeah. It's this right here. Alright, so this is what she's saying. She's forgotten itself. It's sort of like it's forgotten itself in ikari. Ikari de ga wasereteru. So blind with rage, I think, is a great translation for that. Sorry if you don't see that on the digital there. So like that. I am beside myself with anger. Even saying beside itself, like if you tweak this the Google Translate being beside it's beside itself with anger. I don't know. That's even better than he's forgotten himself with anger or he's too angry. And then yeah, they at least the G-Kid sub does keep that consistent. Blinded by rage. This blind with rage just makes so much. It's so succinct. It's visual. It makes sense. I've got a comment. Whoops. I've got a comment instead of I must calm him. I must calm him. I've got to calm him. Like, come on, man. Yeah, I've got a comment. Like, even the gotta really helps with the translation, where she's like "Suruna kya," like the particular diction that she gives here in this line. Shizumena kya, right? I must calm him. I've got to calm it, right? So it does have the it. I was saying earlier that with the way she treats life here. Let's see.
With rage, I've got a comment.
Yeah, I've got a comment is what she says. The way she changes to her addressing voice to her internal voice. Yeah. Read Miyazaki's Animism Abroad, the reception of Japanese religious themes by American and German. Oh, whoa. For why Good Boy for the Insects might be the best choice for translation. Yeah, I don't deny that it's a good choice for direct translation for like what the subs actually say in terms of eco. Like iko dakara, like that makes sense. I'm just saying about like the choice of that word in general, even just the performance of it, just the wording. But maybe that's what you're referring to about Animism Abroad, of like the religious themes and stuff for the Good Boy for the Insects, which would be fair. I think it's an endearing term. I don't think it's wrong. I just think there's better ways to go about it. Blind with rage is great. TLAMO. Yeah. Mr. Yupa, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Ha! Ha!
Go back to your jungle. You don't belong here. Now go back.
Go back. Does it clip? Does the audio clip here?
Now go back.
It does.
Be a good giant and don't give me a hard time.
It's a cool moment. It's fine. I like it.
Doesn't look like this little devil's gonna cooperate.
I don't like this stuff. I actually like it kind of just succincts it in one phrase. It's a little doesn't look like this little devil's gonna cooperate. It's fun. It's not bad. I always say, like, Warriors of the Wind, like, I think it's good for contrast and stuff. It's funny a lot of the time. But I don't know. It's not awful, because I think the worst dubs are the ones that are just so boring and dull and just don't do it a good job. You don't have a good time listening to them, right? That's not a problem with the tape or master. The clips are in the recording session. Yeah, wow. All right, dub for that one. Yeah, for Blind with Rage and all that. Okay. Yupa.
先行でオウムが目を回した。虫笛。
Mushibue. All right. Let me do that one more time.
先行でオウムが目を回した。
See, yeah, so the flare stunned it is way too simplistic. That's what the G kids say. The Ohm's been blinded by the flares. That makes sense. That sounds like what he said. The Ohm has lost consciousness from the flare. That lost consciousness is a little wordy, a little bit of a mouthful. The Ohm's been blinded by the flares. Blinded is one thing, but like it completely stops moving, right? So I think it's been more than blinded, really. Stunned it makes a lot more sense, and which is what the dub does.
Look at that. She stunned it with flash grenades.
Right. So there's a couple other things here too. Look at that. Again, they're really using this word "look" to really help the audience early in the movie with going through. It's like, look at that cloud of spores. Look at it's blind. Look at those red eyes. It's blind with rage. Look at that. She stunned it with right. Really helping the audience early on. She stunned it. I think that makes the most sense in terms of what she did. I'll look at the Japanese raw in a bit, just to really be like, what exactly did she do according to the Japanese? But then translating it as flash grenades instead of flares, I think it makes a lot of sense because they look very different from the flare that she sent earlier. When you say like, oh, the flares stunned it, or like the blinded by the flares, like there's more flares. You know, like there's different kinds of flares. Like there's the flare that she shot out of the gun, and then these are also flares. They look like flashbang, and they also sound. I can't show you the clip, but like they look like, and it's like, right? Like I don't think those are flares, my guy. I think those are like some kind of grenades, and like it just makes sense. It just so like seeing it, it's like they're flash grenades. She stunned it with flash grenades. It just makes more sense. And then yeah, insect charm, insect whistle. I think it's like mushiohue.
Mushibue.
Mushibue, or whatever. Insect whistle, an insect whistle. And the G kids also go with this too, an insect charm. I think that's cooler. I think that's just like yeah, it's technically, it is certainly a whistle, but like charm actually like, you already know it's some kind of whistle because of the noise that it's making by the time he says that. So when it says, so to add to that, oh, it's a noise making thing, insect charm, oh, it's just going to be some way for her to calm the bug. It just clicks with the audience a lot sooner, even if it's maybe not like a direct translation or something. The worst dubs are the ones that are verbatim for the provided subs or script with little consideration for sync or line specific. Yeah, definitely. A lot of bad Central Park funded dubs like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can understand that for sure. Yeah. I think I'm going, but let's Warriors.
A load of light bombs will put them to sleep every time.
It's good. That's better than the Japanese. It's like for the same exact reasons that I just said for here, where it's just like the way that he's incorporating with the audience is like, oh yeah, that'll do it. They'll stun them every time, right? Even though it's kind of corny, it's like, wait, what? And then like calling them light bombs instead of flares just makes more sense. Yeah, that line at least. But then this one's kind of. Ugh.
That's the secret, my spunky little princess.
Don't stop. Okay. Don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. Little. I don't know. It's not the worst thing, but it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. Okay. All right. All right. Next one. This is what I was confusing with the previous line. I think the reason I wrote it down like the way I did was because it was a lot of it was from memory.
Oh, wake up! You need to go back to your jungle. It's coming too.
So the performance again is very similar. It's incredible how Allison is able to mimic Sumi a lot in terms of just the pace and like the tone and stuff, but then improve upon it. Oh my gosh. So I don't think there's too much of a difference performance wise, but awaken, Ohm. Ohm, awake. Ohm, open your eyes. Just Ohm, wake up. Like, that's so obvious. Meo samashite. That could be translated as wake up. Why do none of the subs go with that? Awaken. Like, oh, Ohm, awake. Awaken. Like, it's so awkward. Why? Why are they so bad? That's not like the word. It's not garbage or whatever, but like when it's right, when the options are presented to you like this, it's like, come on, you know, like, oh man, oh, wake up. Yeah, like it's obvious. Return to the forest. Back to the jungle now. Let's go back to the forest. That's, I don't know about that one. It makes, I can see it from a translation perspective of that being literal, because she does say Morie Kairo, like kind of almost like ikimashou, almost as let's go, right? I can get that, but that kind of makes it a little confusing or weird, you know? I get, because she doesn't go with it to the, or maybe she technically does. She does technically go back to the forest because she goes back to get the eye, right? She doesn't have the eye here. No, yeah, she threw it aside before she got on the Mev really early on, you know, when she runs out of the thing, she just kind of tosses it aside and gets on. I don't know. Back to the jungle now. Return to the forest. You need to go back to your jungle. I like that it really complements the animation here. Watch her arm as she talks.
Wake up! You need to go back to your jungle.
You know, it's like, you need to go back to your jungle. I think that just, again, emphasizing the dialogue and the visuals, there's just more synergy there. Morie Kairo, right? It's less synergy there, I think. I know it's a weird nuance thing, but yeah. And then it's coming to. It's awake. There you go. It's awake. I think it's just like a kinosuita. Yeah, she's like, oh, it's got, yeah. Doesn't kinosuita tawa, doesn't that sound like a good translation for it's coming to? Doesn't that just sound like a good does that make sense? I think that makes sense. It's awake. There you go. It's awake. He's coming to. It's coming. Is it he's coming to or it's coming to?
It's coming to.
It's coming to. I should change that. Sorry. It's coming to. Yeah. I just think that's a better translation. I just think that's way better wording. It's also Yupa judging what Nausicaa Zandra learned from her experience in his absence. Yeah. No, that's right. Right, like there's more realization in Patrick Stewart's voice. She's like, oh, an insect charm. I was like, wow, she's stunned with flash grenades. Whereas like the Warriors of the Wind Up, or even the other one, there's less curiosity there. He's more like describing what's happening. Though, kind of has a nuance, like you're talking to a child sometimes. Kaido, right? Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it was Shini Kaido, right? No, that's fair. I don't think, yeah, I think it's proper. I just think in terms of between the two, you need to go back to, it's also just, for me, it's like, that's like an adult-sized dome, or maybe it's supposed to be, because like you see a baby one later in the movie, right? Because it's also the one that just shed its shell and everything. I don't know, but yeah. And then, yeah, that's a good boy. Wow, Where's the Wind a little more accurate, huh?
Wake up! Come on, boy. Time to go back to your jungle. That's a good boy.
Oh, that's cute. Come on. Oh, wake up.
Wake up! Come on, boy.
Come on, boy. It's fun. All right. Yupa. I love this line. Oh. Let's show like what Patrick Stewart does.
Unbelievable.
That's way better. That's already a W, man. I'm not gonna lie. I like the unbelievable. Yeah, because again, it's really emphasizing how remarkable that is that she was able to do that. It didn't even in the way that she did it too, right? It's supposed to really emphasize that.
王も森へ帰ってゆく。
Let me get that over here.
光玉と結び絵だけで王も沈めてしまうとは。森へ帰ってゆく。
帰っていく。
光玉と結び絵だけで王も沈めてしまうとは。
Yeah, again, it's just something about Goro, like the performances, both with Goro and Sumi here, that just sound so monotone. You know, they just sound very similarly registered, like.
光玉と結び絵だけで王も沈めてしまうとは。
So it's like the same exact tone and register, right? But like Patrick, they're just punching it. They just do so. He's performing the dialogue here.
It's going back to the jungle.
It's going back to the jungle.
She turned it back
She turned it back
with nothing but an insect charm and flash.
flash grenades. Like it's really like emphasis, like wow, that's all she did. Wow, right? So yeah, the unbelievable. The Ohm's returning to the forest. She tamed that Ohm. She tamed that Ohm with flares and an insect charm. Yeah. The Ohm is returning to the jungle. With but whistle and flares, she can herd Ohm. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's so stuffy. It's so stuffy and formal. With but whistle and flares, she can herd Ohm. Like, what is this? Where's the wind? You know? The Ohm is going back to the forest with only flare bombs. Oh, so they're flare bombs now? You said they were, this exact translation said they were from the flare. So now they're flare bombs and an insect whistle. She managed to calm the Ohm. That's the best translation out of the three here. With only flare bombs and an insect whistle, she managed to calm the Ohm. I like that Patrick Stewart doesn't even call it an Ohm. She turned it back, right? Because, again, this is more of a line to the audience as much as it is to himself. To really affirm Nausicaa's prowess here. This is an impressive feat. And the audience doesn't care about being an Ohm. Like, they've mentioned it being an Ohm multiple times, of course. And Nausicaa cares more about it being an Ohm as well. But, I mean, even it makes sense for Yupa to not necessarily call it Ohm all the time. He does throughout the movie. But it makes sense to call it an it. She turned it back. Because, it's the thing that was chasing him. And he doesn't necessarily, like, has the same compassion, I guess. But just in general for the forest and everything, right? He's the first person we see on screen that shows contempt for it. It's like, yet another village is dead. This place too will be consumed by the toxic jungle, right? She turned it back with nothing but an insect charm and flash grenades. W. What can I say? I don't know if obviously I'm dick writing the dub a lot, but I don't know, just I'm giving it as much as I can. Speed Racer. Oh, oh, right. Yeah.
Good. There he goes, back to the toxic jungle.
Sorry, I have to change that. Good.
There he goes, back to the toxic jungle.
There he goes.
Just like Sandra asked him. What strength she has, almost magical. Thanks, my young warrior. Let's move on, boys.
He talked way too much. You could have chosen like one of those lines instead you chose 4. Okay, fair enough. Just like Zandra asked him sounds so biblical almost, which kind of like works well with Nausicaa being such a Christ-like figure almost, like very messianic almost. But yeah, what strength she has. That doesn't correlate with what she does. It's a very unphysical thing that she did, all things considered. Almost magical. Like, really overselling it here. Thanks, my young warrior. Like, okay, stop. Let's move on, boys. Right. You've killed me. Good. Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Like, when your translation from Japanese word to the wise would be to not repeat every time a name is said. Yeah. No, yeah, I have the exact same thing when I'm writing. When I'm writing scripts for videos, I'm like, I just used that word. Hold on, let me try to find a different word because I'm gonna sound like I'm repeating myself. And when you sound like you're repeating yourself, even when you're not, even when you're technically not, like very small part of an audience's brain will be like, he's spinning his wheels. He's saying the same thing. He's not making any forward progression or momentum. It's not additive anymore. It's starting to get stale. Even just a little bit. Even just a little bit. So, and obviously these are streams, so I can repeat myself as much as I want. Sorry. But when it's a script and everything, and then when it's so, every word counts with this. Subs and dubs. They should count. Obviously you can be crunched for time or something, or you have 500 episodes. Look, it's not that big of a deal. That's why I'm not doing a sub versus dub comparison for 500 episodes. But yeah, I'd go for dub on that one. This is interesting. I do have to. So you see how like she like says it immediately as she takes her mask off, like right. Now watch the animation here as Allison performs here.
Lord Yupa!
They actually give a like she's still masked. She's Lord Yupa. Like I think that's way better.
Lord Yupa!
It just shows the difference in her. It shows like the gradual but we've been hearing them in masks this entire movie up to this point. Like the entire time we've been watching, it's just been in masks. So having that contrast of taking the mask off is really important, I think. I just think that's a great technical detail.
Lord Yupa!
Even just like the gasp here.
Lord Yupa!
Instead of I don't know. It's okay. I'm gonna give it to dub for that then. For those reasons. Dud. Yeah, context is everything. Oh yeah.
Lord Yupa!
It's cute. I like these. She's giggling a lot and he's laughing and it's a lot more like excited. It's cute.
Lord Yupa!
It also sounds like she's like they overlapped her. Like she's giggling and saying it's like two voices.
Lord Yupa!
Not like Yupa, like two voices of Zandra. It's interesting. All right. All right, Yupa's line here.
Nausicaa, 見間違えたぞ.
Nausicaa, I didn't recognize you.
Oh, he's so sexy. The graveliness of his voice. I didn't recognize you.
I didn't recognize you.
He's like really happy to see her and everything. It's very gravelly and everything. I like it. Patrick Stewart's gonna kill it. I'm sorry. Goro Naya is great, but he ain't Patrick Stewart, guys. What can I say? What can I say? Ah, man. What can I say? All right. Nausicaa, I hardly recognized you. I didn't recognize you. Nausicaa, you've grown. Or literal, you've visually changed. I mistook you for another. Like, okay. I like that I didn't recognize you, so, that subs do have that. Yeah, I also like that it kind of gives him the line and she's not giggling the whole time. I like that she's just embraced in him and she's not like giggling a whole bunch and he's like, Nausicaa.
Nausicaa, 見間違えたぞ.
Nausicaa. He's like, wow, it's you. Hey. Nausicaa. This is like, because that is the first time her name is said in the movie. So you think of, this is a weird minor small thing, but like you think about people watching this movie for the first time. If they've not they've had a person like me being like, hey, you want to watch Nausicaa? They've heard the name or whatever. You think of a lot of moviegoers who haven't seen this movie before, and they see this word Nausicaa, and it's a really unusual name. So they'll be like, Nausicaa, like they kind of don't know how it sounds. To me, when you find out how you're supposed to pronounce something within the media itself, like Galaxy Express 39, people who have not seen Galaxy Express 39 will just call it Galaxy Express 999, right? Of course, because that they see 3 nines, so that I think most people would go 999. But watching the anime, even just like they call it the 39, that's just so much cooler, and so you're gonna call it 39, Galaxy Express 39, right? Same thing with Pat Labor. When people call it Pat Labor, you know they've seen it because patoleba, right? It's labors, patrol labor, patoleba. Whereas you'll just look at the word, it just says Pat Labor, and that's just like how you'll pronounce it, right? That happens all the time with me with various titles. I think when there's like a title that I pronounce one way, and then I realize it's pronounced a different way now that I've seen it. And so this is really important. The way he said the first time you hear her name, it's like, oh, that's how you pronounce it. And I'm gonna be a bit of a stickler. I won't bring this up much too often, but like I get it's Japanese, all right, but it's Nausicaa is weird. Nausicaa doesn't make Nausicaa. I can't get behind it, guys. I'm so sorry. It doesn't. I know that's literally like her name and everything, but thank God they changed it to just Nausicaa, like nautical Nausicaa. Nausicaa. Like that's so much better. And I think it's a bias. I don't really have much of a rationale. It's not going to be like why I give this to Dub. I think I'll give it to Dub because I like that she's not giggling as much. And again, Patrick Stewart just killing. I didn't recognize you. You know, I don't know. It's, but it might also just be the Nausicaa thing. It's I can't get behind it. Lupin the 3. Yeah. But yeah. Or like even just Lupin the 3rd, but like if someone calls it like Lupin Sansei, it's like, oh, you know. Oh yeah, you get it. Yeah, you're it. Yeah, okay. For Susan's lines there, it seems like they laid too. Yeah, it does. I remember when I first watched this, the mask came off. I was like, oh, that wasn't just the audio quality. Right. I think Naya lends a different kind of world weariness to Stewart's take. It's a little more cynical and subdued. Yeah, and I think that's a fair interpretation of the character. And I guess for me, I just like Stewart's performance more for his role with Nausicaa specifically, because at least in the manga that would make more sense with him being more general world weary and everything. But for his relationship with Nausicaa specifically is so important with this movie. It's a little, I think to me, he should be more warm and authority and father-like, I think. Fies, absolutely. My name is Patrick, and welcome to my labor. Nausicaa. I actually hate how it sounds dubbed. Oh, editor, it's good to see you here. I mean the 2005 dub? Do you mean like with the Nausicaa or Nausicaa? Or just generally? Have you listened to the Warriors of the Wind version?
While I've grown old, you've grown beautiful.
It's endearing, I guess, but it's just weird. It's just weird. Like I don't think he needs to be that personable with her, you know? It's weird. Nausicaa, Mr. Falcon. I think people should just use whatever name they have in their language for Nausicaa from Odyssey. Oh yeah, that's fair. No, that's fair. She's very formal in that. She's been yeah. So this is like the line for me in the whole sub for G Kids right now. That's like, gotta be kidding me, dude. It's been a year and a half. That's just not grammatically correct, bro. Father will be glad is fine, but like it's been a year and a half. At least the correct here. It's been a year and a half. I think it's been over a year now. Is way more conversational and casual. It's been over a year now. You know, it's almost like obsessive, where you're just like, it's been a year and a half. It's been a year and a half, specifically. I don't know. I like it's been over a year now, and then yeah, Father will be glad. I much prefer that it's a personal state. It's the first thing she says to him besides Lord Yupa. It's just like, it's good to see you. That's way more natural and conversational and like approachable and fitting their relationship than Father will be glad. And also, I like that like they bring up her father way late, like in the like when she says that he can't fly. Or no, actually, I'm sorry. Father says I have my bad. I don't know. Actually, that's even better. It's actually like even better choice, because her constantly bringing up her dad over and over again is a little weird. Like I like that it's just twice in it's like Father says I have a long way to go, and then Father can't fly anymore. But her constantly bringing up her dad is a little weird. But maybe the technical sense of their relationship and stuff, where her father is so integral to her relationship with Yupa. I don't know. But I think this is way more conversational here.
It's been over a year now. It's great to see you.
She says it's great to see you. Even more conversational. It's great to see you. But again, like, Isumi just sounds so formalistic here. It's like, oh, korimasu. You know? It's like, maybe that makes sense for her relationship with him being a little more like master apprentice type, but I don't know, it's way more encouraging here when she's
been over a year now. It's great to see you.
Yeah, she's so happy. You can hear Allison smiling in that recording, really.
I missed you, Uncle. I'm glad to have you back.
Uncle. Yeah. I think people, yeah. I meant the clip you played. This is my first time listening to it. Kind of hurts my ears. Oh, yeah. So, it's Patrick Stewart playing Lord Yupa, and Goro Naya playing him in the Japanese, and then Alison Lohman here is the one playing Nausicaa in the dub. Now, it's gonna be totally fair if you've never heard the dub before, because you're not used to it. I don't know how many times you've seen Nausicaa, but I've watched Nausicaa in the English dub over 40 times, and the Japanese like 2 or 3 times. So I'm very heavily biased, and people are more than willing, more than available to do this level of analysis that I'm doing. But I'm clear about my biases, at least. And again, I for those of you who've not heard that dub before and it kind of hurts your ears, I have an even worse dub for you.
I missed you, Uncle. I'm glad to have you back.
That is the Warriors of the Wind. Yeah. That's Warriors of the Wind, which was the 1985 version that cut 25 minutes out of the movie. It's a shorter version, and that's part of the story, the part of that myth that Suzuki and Miyazaki sent Harvey Weinstein that samurai sword of like no cuts. That's because the last time they did it, they sent a movie over to the United States. They literally cut 25 minutes out, and they also cut the aspect ratio so it could fit on televisions. So no cuts. So it's not being considered as what's better, sub or dub here. It's just as a frame of reference for people who might not be familiar with it. And I'm not considering the other dubs like Korean and French and Italian, because I'm not familiar with those languages as much. I don't have much listening experience, but I've listened to a lot of Japanese dialogue, so I think I can properly analyze it. Anyway, yeah, for those reasons, I'm gonna give it to dub. It's a little more on the nose, Minasan. I think Nausicaa making light of her father is in line with the ambiguous relationship she has with him, like she's still in his shadow. Yeah, though that's fair. That's fair of him being in her shadow and still like compulsively mentioning him. That is a fair point. I just think for her characterization this early on, her being more casual, I think should take precedence over like this deeper thematic thing with her father, which does come up later. But yeah, which for clarity, And those who don't know the total myth, that's sort of... Oh, yeah, okay, it is a myth. Fair enough. South Korean dub around, I believe, it's a pretty prevalent myth if that's the case. It's crazy how often you hear it. Yeah, very formal again. And the subs kind of match that. I must thank you. You've become a great wind rider. I must thank you. You've become a fine wind rider. Or fine wind user. Fine wind user. Okay. Again, I think the dub is way more naturalistic with the language.
Thank you for helping me with that Om. You've certainly mastered that glider of yours.
Yeah, mastered that glider of yours. He's giving specifics, you know what I mean? It's weird to give this term like this, because they're like, wait, wind rider? I guess what she was doing? Yeah, sure. But, like, this is something that the audience can understand, right? You're framing the thing that he's trying to say in a way that is approachable for a newcomer audience. You've certainly mastered that glider of yours. And also to give me the specifics of helping me with that Om. I must thank you. You know what I mean? I like it that he gives specifics in the dub as well. Thank you for helping me with that Om.
Thank you for helping me with that Om.
Yeah, I just think that's much better.
You rescued me just in time. You ride the wind like a master.
Aw, that's really endearing, actually, but yeah. You ride the wind like a master. Specifically, Suzuki did not send Harvey the sword, and it wasn't a real sword. He presented him with it at a meeting. Cool. Okay, yeah. So it's just bent a little bit then, the story. Suzuki loves spreading myths.
いいえ、父はまだまだだって。
Yeah, so I really like that the dub interrupts itself. You just watch the animation here. She finishes her sentence, but seems like the visuals make it seem like she stops her, but she actually gets the complete thought out. You know what I mean? And I like that the dub actually complements the animation again here.
You think so? Father says I have a long way to...
You know, I think that's much better choice. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, so let's analyze that a little bit more. You've become a fine wind rider. No. Or yeah. Right? I get a little brainwashy. Again, I think that's helping with that characterization with her father and everything, which is fair. But then, yeah, you've mastered that glider of yours. You think so? She's so, like, happy about it. Because, like, she might even think that herself, right? But it's just, it's like, oh, you think so? Well, father says this, right? Yeah, it's like, oh, you think so? Because father said, yeah. That just makes more, that just flows a lot better, I think. And then, yeah, father says I have a long way to, you know? Father, chichi I say mana mana datte. It's weird. I think the dub kind of flows a lot better there. But the delivery, I don't think there's too much difference here.
You
think so? Father says I have a long way to...
I do like how she lowers her register when she says father, like, father says I have a long way to, you know? Yeah. She kind of does in the sub as well. To be fair.
Father says I've lots to learn.
So awkward. A little clumsy, but yeah, it gets the job done. Yeah, he's the chief propagandist at the Kremlin. Yeah. Okay. Warriors Yupa really sounds like he's about to say coming soon to DVD and video. Yep, he does.
そうそう。こいつのことをすっかり忘れておった。
Oh, yes. I forgot all about this little fellow. He's the reason I got in trouble with the Om.
Okay, so there's way more verbiage here in the dub, and I think that's fitting. Oh, yeah, of course, I've completely forgotten about him. Or, oh, yes, I completely forgot about this fellow. Oh, yes, I forgot all about this little fella. Not much difference there, I think. But really, I like that the dub has this line. He's the reason I got in trouble with the Ohm. You know, in watch the animation as the dub says
Not
that.
all about this little fellow. He's the reason I...
The first time you're seeing him, you're having that added information. Like, this is the troublemaker that got us into the trouble in the first place, right? There's way more, again, synergy with the visuals and messaging and information here.
He's the reason I got in trouble with the Ohm.
Yeah. It kind of characterizes him almost. He's the troublemaker, right? And obviously you still get that information later on, like a little, like 2 lines later. But it's the connotation and the introduction here that makes a lot of sense, I think. And then, yeah.
I forgot about my little friend.
And then he says nothing here. Yeah. Okay. It's a pretty straight translation of the Japanese in that part. Father says, I have lots to learn. Yeah, it sounded a lot like she's, you notice that she's kind of a slave to the lip sync here, right?
Father says, I've...
Like the mouth kind of moves, like stays open for a little bit.
lots to learn.
She's like really, it's kind of a struggle for lip flaps there. And that makes sense with, if you think about when the process of them dubbing this movie, it's one of the first lines that she says with her mouths moving. Every other line for the first 10 minutes of this movie has been with a mask. So she didn't need to match the lip flaps all that closely, and she had a little more wiggle room. But now she's like, oh shoot. Like, if you're thinking about dubbing this chronologically, you're not bouncing around or anything. You're like, I've got lots to learn. Like, she's probably kind of not accustomed to dubbing like this. The PR feeds the company culture. Yeah. Yeah, so I like the dub for those reasons, but he's the reason and everything. Again, the performances I don't think is too different. Cute.
Wow, is that a fox squirrel? I've never seen one.
Wow.
He's adorable. Where'd you get him?
They're all really cute. A fox squirrel. I've never seen one. Wow, a fox rat. Fox rat. Ugh. Fox squirrel is a way better translation, dude. For some reason, the direct literal translation does not include the hajimete part. Wow, a fox rat. I've never seen one before. Yeah, I don't really like fox rat. A fox squirrel. I've never seen one. Wow. I like, again, the ma, right? You need that ma. Wow. My. Wow. Is that a fox squirrel? I like that it's framed as a question there, because she's inquisitive. She's learning things about it. It's like, oh, is that one of those fox squirrels? Right. I like that there's more of a process of learning here. She's still more of a student and everything. He's showing her this little creature, right? Oh, is that a fox squirrel? And it makes sense that she's asking the question because she's never seen one. Is that a fox squirrel? I've never seen one of those. Wow, right? There's like, wow, I know that. It's a fox rat. I've never seen one, right? And a little more know-it-all and everything. But like this, again, more conversational, more like inquisitive, studious. Yeah, and just more like wow, is that a fox squirrel? You know, it makes more sense. It's good. The PR feels, yeah. Where'd you get him? Cool. All right. Next one.
こいつがハムシにさらわれたのを人のこと間違えてな。つい銃を使ってしまったのだ。
I hadn't either. I saw an insect carrying him off and I mistook him for a human baby. I had no choice but to use my gun.
All right. When a wind insect snatched him, I took him from a human child. I had to fire my gun. This is from the G Kids or Disney subs on the official release. If you go to watch this movie with like Fathom Events or something, these are the subs you will get. They're not good. They are so robotic and like, whatever, dude. When a winged insect snatched him, I took him for a human child. He was captured by a bird louse. I thought he was a human baby, and I ended up having to use my gun. Yeah, yeah. So, and there's no difference between there's no secondary translation there. That's just what they both use. He was captured by a bird louse. Let's listen to that.
こいつがハムシにさらわれたのを
Hanamushi or something like that. Yeah.
こいつがハムシにさらわれたのを人のこと間違えてな。
It's just so like it's just rapid fire. They're so fast with the dialogue here. He was captured by a bird louse. I thought it was a human baby. I ended up having to use my and then he pauses to be like, and I ended up having to use my gun, like right here.
つい銃を使ってしまったのだ。
Yeah. He was captured by a bird louse. I thought he was a human baby, and I ended up having to use my gun. Right, similar to the G kids here. I took him for a human child. I had to fire my gun. I, of course, love that he actually is responding in a conversational tone. I had neither. Is that Fox Squirrel? I've never seen one. I had neither. Hey. Oh, yeah. Like, he doesn't say that in the subs, but that's such a good way of flowing things and making it feel like a natural conversation, right? Like, he's listening. And that's such an important thing, right? With, like, especially with dubs, because so often, most of the time, they're recording separately. One person might hear the other person's dialogue because they recorded before them, but the other person hadn't heard the other person's dialogue. So it's really you can lose a lot of that conversational chemistry if one person doesn't hear the other person. That could be really difficult. And obviously you can't change what the other person like responded back. Maybe you can if you have the time or whatever, but the people are willing. But yeah, so that's so important. I really like the I had neither. I saw an insect carrying him off. He was captured by a bird louse. When a winged insect snatched him, right? I saw an insect. It doesn't matter what like type it is or whatever. It's just insect or whatever. Carrying him off, right? Oh, I saw him carrying him off. And I mistook him for a human baby. I mistook him instead of I took him for a human child or I thought he was a human baby. I mistook. It was my mistake. Obviously, it's not a human child, but I thought it was. I mistook it for a human baby. And then I had no choice but to use my gun. And he says it so matter of fact, too. He's like, I had no choice but to use my gun. Wait, sorry.
Baby, I had no choice but to use my gun.
You know, it's like, that's why I shot it. That's why he had the gun go off. And of course, the insects all got angry at me because you fire a gun in the forest, right? I had no choice but to use my gun. And I ended up having to use my gun. I had to fire my gun. They all have the same meaning, but like I had no choice. Just makes the most sense. I just like it flows so fucking well. And then
I rescued him from the claws of a mighty gadfly. I thought he was a
gadfly.
child, so I shot the gadfly and...
He just interrupts him. I cut that line because she really just like he just stops talking.
And that's why the giant...
She just like finishes his sentence, which is cute. It's another conversational thing, but it's a little awkward, obviously. So I shot the gadfly and yeah. All right. Warriors is making a little leap her for the exact insect you was referring to. Oh yeah. We do see Ushiabu gadflies later rather than just a winged insect. Yeah, that's a human child, all right. Yeah. All right. So then.
それであんなにオウムが怒ったのね。
Oh, so that's why the Ohm was so angry with you.
That's what enraged the Ohm. That's what enraged the Ohm. Yeah, right. Again, the differences in between G Kids and Disney. So that's what angered the Ohm. Oh, so that's why the Ohm is so angry with you. When he's saying like with you, there's more conversation. Again, you're more like addressing the person. And I think she doesn't even give something like an epiphany moment here in the wording here.
それであんなにオウムが怒った。
She just like is so focused on the fox squirrel. It's like she's kind of half listening almost. She's staring at it. But like Allison talking, and it's like, oh, so that's why she's still focused on the fox squirrel, but she's being polite and still talking very casually and conversationally, I think. It's like, oh, so that's why just way more conversational, but that's what enraged it. And I don't think that the subs are wrong or like, you know, or anything
そ
like.
れであんなにオウムが怒ったのね。
When she says nah, I think that could imply that she was being a little more casual. They could be, I think the subs could be softened up a bit. But yeah, that's what we got. Doing our best with those.
And that's why the giant Gorgon got angry and chased you, huh?
It's kind of similar actually to the Disney one, and that's why the giant Gorgon got angry and chased you, huh? Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
気絶しておったので毒を吸わなかったようだ。いや手は出さん方がいい。チビでも凶暴だ。
He's quite
Let me put the.
ようだ。いや手は出さん方がいい。チビでも凶暴だ。
He's quite spirited. Apparently, he didn't inhale too much of the jungle's poison. Better not touch him. Even the babies are vicious.
Yes. So there's a lot of information in this one. So the G-Kid subs say he fainted, so was spared the poison. So awkward, so bad. Look at he'd fainted, so was spared the poison. Like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like it's correct technically, but like it's so stiff and formal, right? Better not touch him. Even young, they're savage. It's like machine translation. Like I don't even think they had machine translation back in 1995 when they wrote these. It's so weird. Better not touch him. Even young, they're savage. I mean, he does say better not touch him here, but it's not like a period. You know what I mean? Better not touch him. Even the right. It's not a whole sentence, or maybe it is. I don't know. Even young, they're savage. So savage. Alternate translations, they have, it seems he didn't inhale the poisons because he was unconscious. Or, it seems he didn't inhale the poison because he was unconscious. Yeah. Pretty much no difference in that particular line. I like that he says he's quite spirited. And you look at what he said, what's being shown as he's saying, is like he's quite spirited. He's like, look at that, he's quite spirited. Instead of like being straight to the point of like, oh, he was fainted, so was spared the poison, or it seems he didn't fail the poisons because he was unconscious, or whatever. I like that he starts off with a little more conversational thing. It's quite spirited. Apparently is great. Apparently is a really good thing because he's surprised because he's seeing it. He's like, I thought the thing would be fucking dead. You know, I just took it out. I almost forgot about it, honestly, because it was in this forest for so long. It's like, apparently it didn't inhale too much of the jungle's poison. It didn't inhale too much of the jungle's poison, right? It didn't inhale the poisons, was spared the poison. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, obviously it inhaled some of it, right? But it's like, it didn't inhale too much of it. Better not touch him. Even the babies are vicious. Ah, you'd better not put your hand out like that. He's a ferocious little beast. No, you shouldn't put your hand like that. Put out your hand. You shouldn't put out your hand like that. He's small, but still ferocious. So there's ferocious, savage. I think vicious is good. The babies are vicious, right? Come see, come saw. He's a ferocious little beast. He's small, but ferocious. This translation here doesn't even mention him being his size or whatever, like contrasting his size with how vicious he is. Even young, he's small, but still. Even the babies are vicious. Never mind the adult ones. Like this is the babies, or maybe this is, I don't know. It's just to give you that contrast. Like, oh, careful, they really are, you know. But he knows them, but he hasn't seen them before. I hadn't either. Yeah. I think I prefer the dub there.
Right.
Right.
Be careful, Zandra. He's a feisty little devil. These creatures can be nasty.
Yeah, it's fine. Whoop. Be careful, Zandra. He's a feisty little devil. These creatures can be nasty. All right. Theatrical subs usually shoot for getting the gist across. Yeah. That's fair when it's like, you know, they try to be as fast as possible, I guess. You can't pause or whatever. Okay. Nausicaa line. He's a sicko. Right.
Oide.
Oide.
Come on. It's okay.
おいで。
Oide.
Come on. It's okay.
I was about to say sub because there's really not much difference I can find. But I really like that she says it's okay. Because it's obviously reinforcing. It's an initial what she says later where it's like, hey, calm down. It's okay. It's nothing to fear, right? That messaging of just like, and that's such a, that scene, this upcoming scene here extends to the whole film. Because there's everything to fear. This is the it's the apocalypse. It's 1,000 years after the collapse of industrialized civilization. There is plenty to fear. So it's like such a encouraging message. It's part of obviously one of her like her big signs and everything. Like, oh wow, she can just tame the beast. What a mysterious power she has, right? But yeah, like the moment's really important, and so that the okay is sort of like a lead in to that. Also the oide, she's already being like, come here, oide, right? She's like oide.
おいで。
Come on.
She's still kind of saying that in the dub, but she's more like encouraging it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the Warriors of the Wind already named it like immediately.
Foxy, come on.
Come on, Foxy. It's it's Tato. I was about to be like the dub didn't name it, but they did. I'm stupid. Okay.
Oi.
Oi.
Careful.
That's way more in character, I think, with Yupa as a mentor, right? Because he's explaining this thing, he's talking about them, he's a little more authoritative. But he actually sounds a little more like, oh, you know?
Oi.
Oh, wait, right? A little more fumbly. But like, and I like it that Mito is that character for her, who gets kind of kerfuffled for all the things that she does, but he's still kind of like an uncle figure for her. Still kind of like a father, like senpai type person, but he's the character that ends up being a little more like, whoa, princess, you know, which works great for him. I really like that character a lot. But Yupa, I think Yupa has a lot more reservation and more control, so I think it would make more sense for him to be like, careful, you know, a little more instructorly. Like he literally just handed a creature to his apprentice, you know.
Don't let him bite you.
Don't let him bite you. It's so babyish. Anyway, it's okay. Yeah, but I think I'd put for the dub right there. Okay, big line, big line, and I do have an argument already. Yes, I do.
ほら、怖くない。
I have to put the visual here.
ほら、怖くない。怖くない。ほらね、怖くない。ね。
There's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. See? Nothing to fear. Right?
Oh, yeah. So this one's the performance more so, I think. Because Sumi says the same thing. She repeats it, kowakunai, hora, korakunai. And it's great that, and the repeating of those words is really important. We'll kind of scrutinize how you translate kawakunai, which is a whole other thing, reason why the dub is better, I think. But I just wanted to focus on performance right now.
怖くない。
Kawakunai.
怖くない。
She says it the same way. She's repeating herself and also saying it the same way, which I think kind of defeats the purpose of saying the same thing every time. If you're repeating yourself, I think there's opportunity there to actually perform with to deliver the same thing but with different nuances, right? But you listen to the 3 times that she says it.
ほら、怖くない。
Kawakunai.
怖くない。
It kind of sounds similar, but it's very, very faint.
ほらね、怖くない。
That sounds almost exactly like the first time, right? Which I guess is sort of like maybe a loop roundabout kind of moment, maybe. But like, Allison is coaxing Tato here.
There's nothing to fear.
She's so much slower too. She's calming it down. There's nothing to fear. Instead of like, kawakunai,
怖くない怖くない
Like, go good night, go good night, right? And that she's really slow here. It's like, come on, nothing to fear. Really soothing and calming, right?
Nothing to fear.
She pitches her voice higher too, being kind of like, nothing to fear, nothing to fear.
There's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear.
Right? Way more melodic, way more caring and careful of specific nuances, and helps that with like her moving her finger closer, right?
Nothing to fear.
She's taking a different step physically. So it's like there's nothing to fear. She has her on her arm. Nothing to fear. She's bringing her finger out, right? There should be difference in the way she's saying it. But then you look at Sumi here.
ほら怖くない怖くない
It's sort of like the same thing, but moving, and the movement is what's increasing the furthering the action, I guess. But again, I think it's just the visual, the sound is complementing the visuals a lot more here. And then yeah, the grunt. Sumi did this before, right? Where when she struck the zirconian sword into the shell, she's kind of holding it back. She's like, and the grunts are always very much more restrained, which could show kind of an inner strength for her character. I think that's a fair argument, but it's to show that there's actual pain there. Like there is consequence to what Tato is doing by biting her like that. It is just like, it's just like, it's like, I don't like it. It's important that Nausicaa shows that pain because it's to contrast with like I got it, If she doesn't sound like she's in as much pain and she's just kind of, then it doesn't work as the payoff of this, like, she's still there. It's like, nothing to fear, right? And then of course, like, what really sells me on this entire line, why the dub's better for me.
See? Nothing to fear.
That it's sort of like, it's reassuring to Tato and it's reassuring to the audience. This is, again, because the line is thematically broader than this scene itself because of the setting and where we are and the scenario here, that it's the apocalypse and everything. And again, it's just that nuance. Nothing to fear, nothing to fear. It's so encouraging, and it's so beautiful.
Right?
Oh, she's so cute, like that the very tiny right and everything, and nah. It's fine. Like, I think that the sub is good. The sub's good. I'm not. I don't think that the performance in Soup and Goro and any of these guys have been poor at all. Like, there's some things that I prefer over the other one, but like, yeah, that's good. But I think that there's a lot of value added here. The dub is improved upon a lot, and that's not even beginning to talk about the translation here. You're not scared. You're not scared. See, you're not scared. Or, hey, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to fear. See, like they actually like, so, okay, so the literal translation, there's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. All of even that one, which uses the same wording, which I would argue is the best wording to do for Kawaku Nai, is nothing to fear. Kawaku, fear, Nai. Nothing. Nothing to fear. It's so succinct. It's so perfect, I think. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Which makes sense for the sub because she does say the exact same thing every time. But the dub says, there's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. See? Nothing to fear. See? See? Nothing to fear. And she says, hora. She actually says, and none of the, only the G-Kids translation gives see, you're not scared. See, which is weird, right? I like the right. I think the translation just left it as nah. Okay. Yeah, see, yeah, see is good in that moment where she's like, nah, like, see?
Nah.
Like, that's good. That, I think translating that to see is good. But like right is sort of like camaraderie. right? Remember we said earlier with get upwind of it, right? It's sort of a camaraderie type of a bonding type. It's a bonding moment, and that's what she wants to do. She wants to bond with Tato in this moment. So she's like talking directly to him. It's like, right?
Right?
Ah, it's the best. It's just the best. That is my TED Talk.
Don't be afraid. I won't hurt you.
Oh!
He won't hurt me. Once he knows I'm a friend.
Once he knows I'm a friend.
Friends?
Yay! Warriors is really endearing. I have to tell you, it's funny. I don't think I think it's awkward. It's kind of like a little corny movie. Like, this is okay. But like, especially again, I think it's way more fun to listen to now that you have a good English dub and you also have the Japanese and you can choose. That's when I think it's fun. That's when I think it's like an acceptable dub to include in the conversation, even though it does all these things and it can be kind of weird. I won't hurt you. He won't hurt me. Once he knows I'm a friend. Friends. Yeah. Friend. Okay. We're close. Kind of. We've been going for about 3 hours now. Okay.
怯えていただけなんだよね。
Oh, cute. I should turn that.
ユパ様、この子私にくださいな。
You were just a little scared, weren't you?
Oh, she's so cute. The Allison is so good at like really subtle, cute laughs. She's not really giggly. Like Sumi is just so like like it's really cute, but I just feel like Nausicaa is way older than that. I feel like she technically not. I don't remember how technically old she is in the manga, but like she looks a lot older and she acts older too, right? She looks really mature. That's just so like perfectly aged. I think it just fits perfectly for her. And she's still like kind of giggling because it's a fucking cute fox squirrel that she's looping around with, right?
He's perfect. Will you let me keep him, Lord Yupa?
When I like leading on Lord Yupa here. Okay, so the translation here. You were just frightened. You were only scared. You were just startled, weren't you? I like the weren't you. I like that the two official translations put in weren't you here because the dub puts in weren't you, and it's again a conversational thing. It's approaching it, like it's trying to talk to it. Weren't you? As if it would respond, right? And it responds by running around the arm and stuff. So I don't know if that really, but yeah, you were only scared. You were just startled. You were just a little scared. Again, it's sort of like diffusing the situation with him biting her, like harming her, and it's just you were just a little scared. A little scared. You were only scared. You were just startled, weren't you? You were just a little scared. Even if I say it in the right robotic tone, in the same robotic tone, it just sounds more natural when I put you were just a little scared. You were only scared. You were just startled. Right? The little adds that dimension a little bit. Maybe I'm big braining, galaxy brain or copium, I don't know. Both the subs and the G kids are like, Master Yupa, Lord Yupa, can I keep him? Won't you give him to me? Which I think sounds a little more accurate to like what she actually says, like, Watashi no konoko ni kudasai na. She pretty much says that, yeah. I like these, like, he's perfect. Which is true. He's a perfect mascot. Hasn't been topped. It's a little right. Oh man. He's perfect. Will you let me keep him, Lord Yupa? And then like, will you let me keep him is sort of like a very endearing and humanistic, because that's like, when you find a stray cat or a stray dog or something like that, you're like, will you let me keep him? Having I don't know if it's colloquial is the word, but like more like kind of relatable to hashtag relatable. It's literally me for real. More dialogue like that. Again, it's to warm the audience up to this world and these characters, because you think about it, what do we have in relation to these people that are living 1,000 years after the collapse of industrialized civilization? So when you have colloquial things like that, like, will you let me keep him, Lord Yupa? Sounding very similar to what a kid would say if he found a stray cat or dog. Will you let me keep him? Right? I think it's solid. I think that's really effective. And let me hear
You were just a little frightened.
they see, even Warriors of the Wing put it a little, right? That was good.
Uncle Yupa, may I please have him?
That was a little more direct from what the translation, right? Where they put Yappa in the beginning. May I please have him? Yeah. It's a lot more direct. You were a little scared. Right. Flight suit go spinny, yeah. Warriors is endearing and fun in a Robotech kind of way. Exactly. And it's fun to like engage with now that it's not the only thing. You can watch macros. Like, go ahead. Hello, Shapes. Good to see you, Woodproc. We're almost through. We're like 2/3 of the way through. We're about here out of these lines. We give that to Dub.
Oh, come on.
Of course.
Sorry, I cut him off there, I think. Let me adjust that. Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Of course, certainly.
Yeah. Well, I certainly. Oh, certainly. I won't mind, but
Oh, come on.
I was again gonna give it to sub because I didn't see much difference, but I think the dub takes it because he's a lot more like, okay, right? He's like, oh, come on then, no? Right?
Oh,
He's like, oh,
come on.
he's like, okay, right? Again, little bumbling, and I don't think that fits Yupa as well as keeping composure. And he's like,
Of course,
sir."
certainly.
And he's still surprised. He's still like, oh, all right, right? But he still has that composure to him.
Of course, certainly.
Yeah, and he's delighted in it too. Come on, you know, it feels almost insecure, almost, I guess.
Of course, Andra.
That's fine. That's good. So certainly, knock. Yes. Oh, certainly, right? Using certainly in 2024. She's so cute. Get her away. She's so cute. Shoot. So it's like, thank you. Oh, thank you. I get fucking emotional, bro. It's so cute. Actually, that's the Warriors of the Wind. It's cute, dude. Listen to this.
I love him.
Ah, precious.
Thank you, Uncle. Thank you.
She's so cute and precious in that, even though she sounds 40 years old. Ooh. And I don't know, it didn't make much sense for her to keep saying thank you when it's not an argument, but anyway, thank you. Wa, arigato.
Thank you.
Oh, so cute. All right. So, kai kui, aboita boitaru. Kai kui, do you?
Kai, Kui, do you remember me?
I think the sub has it. I think the sub is cuter, and the dub just doesn't have much of an improvement to it. So I think the sub takes that one. Cute voice overload. Yeah, for real. This is such a good line. I remember this in the fucking trailer for like the Disney trailer for this. It's so good.
What a mysterious power she has.
It's really close, actually. I think Goro lanes it very similarly. I think it's just Patrick. I think it's just me preferring Patrick Stewart's performance, mostly. But then the translation, Fushigi na, just plain mysterious, does not explain the word Fushigi well. Okay, weeb. Such a remarkable gift. A mysterious power. What a mysterious power she has. I think that she has it really makes a difference here. I get like the mysterious power. It's like, it's okay. Then give a better translation then. A remarkable gift. I don't know. I really like because he's talking very gravely here. He's like, and he looks grave. Look at him. He's just like staring at her. He's like, huh. Right? It's sort of just like bringing back his temperament that he had in the beginning of the movie, where he's like, yet another village is dead. He's having that same kind of tone that's not as friendly, really. It's sort of like, huh. So when he says such a remarkable gift, I think that clashes with the grave look on his face and the tone that he's setting. That he's saying this, that Goro is saying, Fushigi no chikara da. Also, it's chikara. I think it's a better translation to call it power. Fushigi not power. But again, the alt translation who's like, just play mysterious doesn't explain it. Like, then give a better word. But you didn't. So a remarkable gift is what best you got. I don't think it's good. And then a mysterious power, I like that it's more framed as an actual piece of dialogue. What a mysterious power she has. And of course, Patrick Stewart's performance here.
What a mysterious power she has.
You know, she's like, he's, in awe almost. It's still serious, but he has like a reverence for it almost. It's like, whoa.
What a mysterious power she has.
You know, and he respects it too. He's like, this could get us through and stuff. I don't know. It's really important as like affirmation to the audience that this person is special, not that she's just the title or character. You know.
What a sweet son.
Warriors, where are you what are you cooking?
What a sweet son.
What are you cooking, bro? Oh, jeez. That's all I have to say. Okay. Yeah. She's so like giggly, like right? Giggle.
You must be tired after running from that own.
kind of poking at him a little bit from like running from that ohm, right? And also giving context, right? Because they're probably just tired in general, but it's like, whoa, after that ohm, holy shit, right? That's more and she's actually relating to Kai and Kui here. You must be tired. You ran so far. いっぱい走って。疲れたでしょ? いっぱい走って. Tired? You've ran a lot. Right? And again, it's helping the audience realize, it's like, you ran from that ohm. It's like, oh yeah, they did. Wow. Just now they ran instead of, yeah. So I think that just makes more sense. And I think the performances are very similar here. いっぱい走って. And then just, you must be tired.
You must be tired after running from that own.
And I honestly, like, she laughs like I do, or like a lot of people I know, where part of the laugh is the inhale. Whereas, like, I don't know, the giggling here is just like performed. You know what I mean? Right? I guess she is kind of inhaling a little bit. A little bit, like, right? You know, like the squeak. I don't know. It's a more natural laugh. Fuck you.
My old friends, you do remember me?
It's good. I actually kind of liked that. That was a good line. It's not going to count, but it's good. All right. Here we are. So, he says, is everyone well? What's wrong? How is everyone? What's the matter? Is everyone the same? that sounds like people. Everyone hasn't changed. I assume. That's how I would like directly translate? That's just what it sounds like to me. Is everyone the same? How's everyone? Everyone well? So how's your family, Nausicaa? See, that's a more pointed question, right? And it makes more sense because she remembers, like, well, what was my family? Oh, how's my dad? He's not doing well, right? And it's supposed to be more about her dad. But if he's saying everyone's well, it's weird that it maybe again her character being way more father in her shadow like father focused, which I have to be honest with you, it doesn't really factor all that much into the grand scope of the whole movie to me. Like the minute her father, spoilers, dies very early on, it doesn't get brought up that often again, right? I don't know. But I like that it's a more pointed question. How's your family, Nausicaa? Nausicaa, like actually giving her name too. Doshta. Or there's no change in everyone. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. That's right. But then yeah.
So how's your family, Nausicaa? What's wrong?
Dude, again, that tone, the graveliness. What's wrong? And he looks actually like he already knows something's up. The way that she just sobered up like that, right? What's wrong? Instead of like, Doshta. You know, I don't know. It's I think it's more tender and point and conversational.
How is everyone in the Valley of the Wind, my little princess?
My little princess, sorry.
There's something wrong, isn't there?
Yeah, there's something wrong, isn't there? That's actually a pretty good translation, I think. For Doshta, there's something wrong, isn't there? I actually like that. There's something wrong, isn't there? Yeah. But dub for that one.
父はもう飛べません
Damn.
It's... Father can't fly anymore.
Well, do I have to explain this one? I think having the dramatic pause of it's... You don't even know what she's gonna say. At all. And it's the dramatic, like, it's... What is it? You know what I mean? There's the dramatic tension there. Versus, like, she just gives it away immediately. It's like, it's father. And she has a big pause. And father, what, is he dead? Is he ill? It could be either of those. You already have way more specifics, and then so the dramatic tension isn't as strong. It's still there. Don't get me wrong. It's still there, but it's way more potent when she's just like, it's like my father. It's father, right? And then 父は飛びません
父はもう飛べません
Yeah. He can no longer fly. Father can't fly anymore, which is what the dub goes with. Father can't fly anymore. Father cannot fly anymore. Yeah, so pretty much the same dialogue. So 父は飛びません Father can't fly anymore.
Father can't fly anymore.
Yes.
Yes.
Father is dying.
Ah! Way more blunt. Like, whoa. Yeah, it's like, well, yeah, but it's less taste, like, not very much, very tactful. Oh, it's funny. But yeah, I think the dub just for that dramatic tension, but it's...
ジルが森の毒がもうそんなに
King Jill. So the jungle's poisons are taking their toll.
Yeah. So, translation, Jill or Yuri or Jill. I like that it's King Jill, because at this point in the movie, at least when you're watching the dubs, you don't know that she's a princess. No idea. So that's, I think, the first time. I like that that's the first instance where you realize that. And I don't even think in the Japanese at this point you've realized that she's a princess yet. So like having it this early, I think is great. For this, I don't think there's another instance in the sub that could hint at her being royalty. No, I don't think there's any other point in this scene that could hint at the fact that she's royalty. And I actually think it's important that to reveal that she's royalty. Yeah. I think it's important to reveal that she's royalty at least before they get to the valley, so that you can have that, even indirectly, it's a very small line that you might actually miss that she's royalty, but even just having that foreshadowing so that when they get to the valley and they see her, like the way they treat her as a princess and having all this attention and stuff. And she's not just like this random girl or something, you know? And she has this like position in the valley and everything. Yeah, I just think it makes sense to reveal that he's king here. It's King Jill. All the subs say is, like, this is what he says, right?
森の毒がもうそんなに。
Mo sonnani. It's so interesting that all they say is the jungle's toxins, the forest poison, the forest poison. They don't incorporate the dialogue of him saying sonnani. Like, it's progressed that far. It sounds like when he says like Mori ga
森の毒がもうそんなに。
mo sonnani. It's like, oh, the poisons have already done that much, have already gone that far. And none of the translations have that for some reason. But the dub does. The jungle's poisons are taking their toll. That's such an artist, like a more descriptive and pulpy kind of way of saying it, right? Taking their toll, instead of like, oh, they've progressed that far. Again, that would be a more clinical way of going of saying it, a more clinical translation. But the taking their toll, it's great. Rare British W. Yeah. I agree. It's a rare British W. Yes. Yeah.
King Zeal? Why, he's always been so healthy. Is it?
At least the is it is interesting because it gives a little more conversational push. But like, I hate that he's like doubtful. Like, no, of course he knows that. He knows that. Everyone, that's the fate of everyone who lives near the jungle, as Nausicaa says in the next line.
はい。不快のほとりに生きる者の定めとか。
Wow, sadame no ka. I don't think, yeah, none of the, yeah, so, okay, yes. He says it's the fate of those who, he says it's fate for those living by the Sea of Decay. Yes, the fate of all who live near the wastelands. Yes, it is the destiny of all who live near the Fukai, or so I'm told. I like the or so I'm told, at least, because you notice what she says at the end here. She's like, Sori kotoka, or something like that.
生きる者の定めとか。
Sadame toka. It's just like it's their fate or whatever. Because she's like, again, she's rebelling against that. She doesn't think that they're gonna. She doesn't believe that it's their fate for those who live in it. She doesn't believe in it. And the dub doesn't necessarily have that. Father says it's the fate of all of us who live near. Father says it's the fate of all of us, right? Did she say Chichiwa?
不快のほとりに生きる者の定めとか。
Interesting, like the subs are inserting that. Well, okay, the actual, so only the G Kids translation is saying he says it's, alluding to the dub, because she says that I like that. So I think it's a dub originator. I think we could argue that it's a dub originator because the Japanese language is not implying that her father is the one that says that.
不快のほとりに生きる者の定めとか。
Right. It sounds like she's kind of saying it as a common phrase. It's like, oh, that's what they all say, right? The fate of all who live near the wastelands. It's the destiny of all who live near the Fukai, or so I'm told, right? And this is kind of a little form of rebellion for her to kind of be like push it onto her father, who's to say that.
Yes. Father says it's the fate of all of us who live near the jungle.
Yeah, I like that it frames it as her father saying that. And that's something the dub specifically adds, I think, because the subs could be like he says or whatever, but the actual Japanese dialogue, if you were to translate it properly, he doesn't say that.
不快のほとりに生きる者の定めとか。
Right? And I think these other two are a little more accurate and should be taken in that way. And so to give kind of the dub the W here, because I like that she projects it onto her father in that way. Yeah, and neither of them, I think the sub would eke out if there was a translation that existed that was more of like, more flippant towards the general concept. But yeah. Then here's Warriors.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The toxic jungle.
She sounds so heartbroken from that.
Yes, he spent too much time in the toxic jungle.
Which is an interesting characterization because, like, did he? You know? That we've never really confirmed. It sounds as if it's like, oh, she's taken such an interest in it from him. Where I don't know if that's necessarily the case, right? That's interesting. Yeah, I'll give it the dub for that, though. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines left.
もっと早くに訪れるべきであった。
I'm sorry. I should have come sooner.
Okay, so all he says in the sub is, I should have come sooner. I knew I should have returned earlier. I should have visited earlier. Let me just listen to what he says again.
もっと早くに訪れるべきであった。
Motherfuckers just rewrote the whole movie. I mean, yeah. Not really, I guess. There's a lot of, like, similar as you go later, right? But there's little... It's just adding little bits and everything, right? Even this line here, there's nobody on screen, so they can kind of add whatever as long as it's within the timing. I like that he apologizes. I should have come sooner. I knew I should have come sooner.
もっと早くに訪れるべきであった。
You know? Yeah, I like that he apologizes a lot more. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Because you look at the way, you know, he puts his arm on her.
もっと早くに訪れるべきであった。
I'm sorry. I should have come sooner.
You know?
I'm sorry, Zandra. If I'd known, I'd have come sooner.
Right. Yeah, but give it to dub because of the sorry part, I think. Yeah. Okay.
いいえ。本当によく来てくださいました。いいえ。本当によく。
Yeah, being hyperbolic, but they're adding strange details and characterizations. Oh, they are. Yeah. And it's a matter of whether that fits in the rest of the movie or anything, right? And if it's leading to what characterization. I think Expo had a similar where he kind of made this whole realizing that, like, Deku with the Academia or whatever, it was just transited, like, Deku is this character and then another character or something. Though again, we don't know how much of was shorthand / misconstrued in the subs they were given. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Even just like these other subs that I'm taking from them, like, these are way more thought out. Like, they have the Japanese script, and they're seem way more. They're not in a rush. They're by fans, so they're not like in a particular hurry. I don't even know if they ever made them into official subtitles. So they're not even considering timing or format and everything like that. They could just kind of write whatever, you know. So I'm giving them that benefit of the doubt too, right? Even just the subs they were given, what you mean in terms of the dub, maybe? I'm not sure. So notice that Sumi, like, pauses a lot here.
いいえ。本当によく来てくださいました。
Oh no. No. I think just the no is good. It was really good of you to come. Or I'm glad that you're here. Thank you for coming. I'm just glad you could come at all. That all at all is, like, really, again, doing a lot of work there, because she realizes that there was a possibility that he never comes back. You know, Yupa, like, goes out on these journeys and there's no telling what'll happen to him. Even if she wasn't there just then, he could have just been completely annihilated by a gnome just then, right? So I'm just glad you're here. Like, just glad you could come at all. But I also just like that they moved the pause here. So you notice where they have the pause in the sub, and then contrast this with where they have the dub.
いいえ。本当によく来てくださいました。
It's like she's thinking, and then...
No, I'm just glad you could come at all.
She leaves that at all, like, hanging there for a while. There's this really, really awkward pause, being like, because they move on from the conversation after this, right? So I like that there was like this awkward pause between the two of them, to kind of like, and that prompts her to kind of change the subject almost with the secret room.
No, I'm just glad you could come at all.
It's really impactful pause, I think.
Thank you, Uncle. You're always there when we need you.
It's an endearing line. It's fine. The second fan script was adapted into fan subs several times. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, is that how the pipeline works? I was assuming the dub has access to the Japanese script, but I guess I shouldn't. Maybe. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I don't know. Fan Submarine used to have a copy of on the IA, but I was taken down, though I don't have a copy at the moment. I did save it. Yeah, we're going off the assumption that Mason Riley Jackson had a subbed version to begin with. David Schmoller's wording in an email correspondence is vague, and it seems like they were working around an existing dub. You mean like Tokuma Shoten thing? Like the working subs?
先生、後でぜひ見ていただきたいものがあるんです。私の秘密の部屋。
ほう。
みんなには内緒。怖がるといけないから。私先に知らせに行きます。先生も急いで。
So there's obviously a number of lines here, but we'll go through them.
Lord Yupa, there's something I want to show you when we get back to the valley. I've created my own secret room.
Oh.
I haven't shown it to anyone yet because I think it'll frighten them. You get to be the first. I'll go on ahead and announce you. See you there!
I like that there's more of an echo at the end here.
See you there!
You see there's an echo at the end there? Again, more of like a studio thing with Japanese and stuff. But, alright, Lord Yupa, there's something I want to show you.
Sensei?
Sensei. Not even Yupa-sama, Sensei. Master. So they have one of the subs, they do have that here. Master, I want to show you something. But I like use his name, Lord Yupa, to be fair.
後でぜひ見ていただきたいものがあるんです。
I want to show you something, or there's something I want to show you. I like that the dub added, there's something I want to show you when we get back to the valley. She said, the dub specifically did bring up the people of the valley earlier, but I feel like this might have been the first time where they bring up the valley other than that. But even then, that they haven't talked about the valley. I like this, just like they add this part. We'll show you when we get back to the valley. You know, like when we get back there sort of deal. I like that. There's something I want to show you. Because when she says, there's something I want to show you, I want to show you something, that could imply that she has something right now that she wants to show. I want to show you something. You know, like pull up her phone or something. I want to show you something. Whereas leading that, I was like, I want to show you when we get back to the valley. So it leads into an anticipation and sets your expectations right? My secret room. I've created my own secret room. I've created, you know, I want to show you my secret room. You know, it's weird, but it's like, I've created my own secret room, my own, kind of like taking ownership of it, right? Because you think that she has so much, she's given some freedom, obviously, for being able to explore the jungle and stuff, but sort of like something that she owns in the valley or in the palace itself, where like as a princess, you might not necessarily get that opportunity or that luxury. If you think about it. I've created, and also she created it, right? I haven't, and then of course here, Yupa reacts, kind of subdued, and then, oh. It's just like, oh yeah, you want to show me your secret room? Yeah, okay, right? And then he's like, oh.
My own secret room.
Oh.
Oh, he's actually showing kind of some interest, right? Which is great. It makes sense because he's actually caring about his student, right? When he's just like, oh yeah, oh, right, and then more, it's a secret. I don't want to scare them. Don't tell anyone else. I don't want to frighten them. So let me see what she says here, because those are very different things.
みんなには内緒。
Mina wa naisho. It's a secret to everybody, right? Isn't that kind of the it's a secret to everybody dial, you know? Mino and Naisho. I think it's out of these. It's like don't tell anyone else. I think that's more fitting. I don't want to frighten them.
怖がるといけないから。
It's like I don't want to frighten them. Yeah, I think the don't tell anyone else. I don't want to frighten them. But the dub, I haven't shown it to anyone yet because I think it'll frighten them. Because I think it'll frighten them. You know, that this nuance here of I think it'll frighten them. This is, you know, my perspective, it'll frighten them. So if I think that, oh boy, for the person who they'll actually be kind of spooked. I haven't shown it to anyone yet. And instead of like a secret or whatever, she already says secret right here, right? My secret room. It's a secret. My secret room. Don't tell anyone else. Like that makes sense, but it's still kind of redundant, right? But here, when he's saying, I haven't shown it to anyone yet because it's a secret room because, right? It just flows a lot better. I think it'll frighten them. I don't want to frighten them. It kind of exchange it, but again, I think I think really helps with that. This is great. I'll tell them you're coming. So she actually inserts a line in the dub here. I don't want to scare them. I'll tell them you're coming. Don't tell anyone else. I don't want to frighten them. I'll go on and tell them you're coming. So right? So it's like
ないから、私先に知らせに行きます。
I'll go ahead. She just says that, right? The dub actually gets to sneak a little line here. You get to be the first. He's like, oh, great. Because it's sort of like a funny, daunting thing where it's like, I think it'll frighten them. You get to be the first I frighten. You know, it's kind of a fun jab a little bit. And then, yeah, she sneaks in the other thing. I'll go ahead and announce you. See you there. I'll tell them you're coming. Come soon. I'll go ahead and tell them you're coming. Hurry along. I'll go ahead and announce you. Hey, he's coming. Announce you is really cool. I'll tell them you're coming. I'll go ahead and tell them you're coming. I'll go ahead and announce you. And then see you there. It's so conversational and casual. It's just like, see you there. It's so cute. He's so, because it matches the dialogue here. Sensei osoide. Like hurry up or whatever. Come soon. Hurry along. See you there. I think see you there is just really cute and endearing. It's perfect. Yeah. Let me see what Warriors of the Wind says. Hello, cry out against control.
I have so
We are almost done with the stream.
many questions to ask you when we get back home. About all your adventures. I'll fly ahead and let everyone know you're coming. They'll be so excited. Hurry!
So, the reason she doesn't mention the secret room is because they cut that entire scene out of the movie. So it's like, well, okay, great. All about all your adventures, right? Yeah, them or Word Flip Film Corp. Pay me for the windmill repair charge. What? You get to ride on my spooky dark ride first. Yeah, exactly. It's really endearing. He's like, oh, great. And I've separated this line, even though she continues to talk. I've separated this line out. She's so cute! Sumi! Oh, what can I do? Sumi! God, she's so cute! Kumasaru! She's... the sub is gonna... If sub has any advantage whatsoever, is that Sumi outcutes Allison every day of the week. Allison is not as cute. She's hot.
Lord Yupa?
Hmm?
Do you think you could carry this back for me? I'm afraid it's not the easiest thing to fly with.
Oh, she's so cool and hot. I'm sorry. It'd be a little gross here. My bad. Okay. Lord Yupa, would you carry this? It's hard to fly with. Great. Yep, it sure does the job. God damn it. Master Yupa, can you carry this for me? It's too hard for me to fly with it. Yeah, or the air currents get disrupted, so I can't fly well with it. That's too much information. That's way too much information. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with this one. Can you carry this for me? It's too hard for me to fly with it. Do you think you can carry this back for me? Carry this back for me, right? Because it's like it's a spoil of war. Because I got it from the jungle, carry it back for me. Because now that she brought it to she's not just has it with her. It's too hard for me to fly, so I can't fly well with it. I'm afraid it's not the easiest thing to fly with. It's kind of a flex what she does there, because she did fly with it for a little bit there. She's like, it's not the easiest thing to fly with. You know, it's like, I got this, by the way. Not the easiest, right? I think that's a bit of a flex, and I think it just works really well with that. Let me just listen to one. Also, just listen to the echo and the dub versus the sub.
Yupa? Do you think you could carry this back for me?
She sounds so distant, like far away, as she is visually. She sounds like she's in a room, right? She sounds like she's in an echoed room. Not in a dusty valley that could carry her voice for miles, right? Yeah, it's for that reason as well as the performance and everything like that. Yeah. Although I do love how cute Sumi is here. She's great.
Uncle Yappa?
Uncle
Will
Yappa?
you carry this home for me? I can fly a lot faster without it.
Oh, it's really cute. That's an even bigger flex, technically. Because she's like, I can't fly with it. I can fly faster without it, you know? But it's cute. Was just watching some of your older stuff on Dazaki, etc. Got me excited to do some new anime. Thank you, AP. I'm so happy you saw that. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Still a banger. That's really encouraging. Heck yeah. Would look forward to it. I didn't check out your Laserdisc collection video recently. But I am interested because it's like I don't own any Laserdiscs yet. I have a couple of vinyl records, but I should try to get my hands on a Laserdisc of something. I don't know.
それにしてもよく風を読む。さあ、もう少しだ。
Okay.
She certainly knows how to read the wind. Come, you two, we're almost there.
Come, you two, we're almost there. Right. So this might be the sub because there isn't too much difference there in my opinion. But let's see what the ever so good subtitles say. She certainly reads the wind well. Not far now. My, but she reads the wind well. Come, it's not far now. My, she understands the wind well. Come, just a little further. Yeah, he pretty much says that. But I like he says, come, you two. We're almost there. God, is this just going to be the logic every single time? I'm so sorry if this is... Let me know how like repetitive this felt. This is the last line of the project. Not the project, of this session today. But let me just play the... this actually is one of the reasons why I was like, I'm okay with including the Warriors of the Wind, because I actually think this is the best version. I actually really... It's just really funny.
One of these days, I'm going to learn to fly. It's a lot faster than you two.
You know, it's really endearing. It's really for the audience too. We're like, I gotta get me one of those. You know, I think it's just really funny. It's like I don't know how much sense it really makes because like I figure he would know how to fly, right? Like he just doesn't prefer it. I don't know because of how much stuff he's got to travel and stuff like that. But it's just the jab with the birds will be a lot faster than you two.
It's a lot faster than you two.
It's funny. It's really funny. This is such a... Yeah, she certainly knows how to read the wind. She reads the wind well. Come, you two. But really, the only difference is the come, you two. So I honestly want to give it to sub here. Because I don't think it's that much... I don't think it's that big of a deal, personally. There's others that I feel like I've been able to kind of sufficiently argue that it's a big enough deal to be like, hey, yeah. But, yeah. Anyway. Let me... Honey Flash. Whew. Patrick, I have Aiko on Laserdisc who's buried with some LPs, so I got left out. Oh, fair enough. Where did you learn to fly? Yeah, love that. Definitely. Okay. that is it. That's gonna do it for this installment of Nausicaa's sub versus dub. All right. Yeah, 3 hours, 3.5 hours for 46 lines. Yeah, well, I'm happy I was able to get this amount done. And I didn't even dick around that much. It was actually really solid the entire time. Yeah, I feel like next time I have to choose a sooner stopping point than fucking next time we would go from that scene to all the way at the end of, I know, like after she saves the village or whatever. Like hold on, like goes from the first line, which is this one with him, Gull and all them, and it goes all the way through just about there. It doesn't seem like a huge chunk of the movie, but apparently it's a lot of dialogue. I don't know. Because it's the same amount of time. That was about 15 minutes, but there's a lot of there's not a lot of dialogue. I should say there's not a lot of dialogue in that first chunk. So I don't know. Do I go for, maybe I do I leave it off like right. No, because like all we do is the villagers talking, and then this scene at the fireplace, and that's it. I would just do that, which isn't a whole lot of dialogue, really. It maybe be like an hour and a half. I think I could get to this point in the movie by the 3-hour mark. I think I can do it next time. I definitely think so. That verse is nostalgic to me, so it helps. This was fun. Thank you so much. It's been great. Thanks. Good chill time. Yeah, I'm happy people liked it. I will say, not to call shade anybody, but it's a different group of folks. It's a mostly different group of folks from the encyclopedia video, which is interesting. I know there's probably some lurkers that was like, I was there, or whatever. But no, I just think that was, I think that's interesting, and I was very happy. You guys have been a great chat, and I should end this stream before the 3:45 mark. But I think, yeah, I'll try to swing next week for that. Okay. You guys are great. You guys have a great week. Yo, peace.